Well, hello, hello, hello. To answer your question, at Guadalupe Guacamole. Apparently, that's what your channel says, unless this is another sock account. Still trying to ascertain. There is a rumor going around. You know how rumors are. They're usually hard to substantiate. Let's just say if there does exist body cam footage, I'd be very interested in exploring. could be a good time. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Sepher? Good to see you. And we're gonna be playing. I'm on my budget cut account right now, so this is not my most competitive, and I can't do a draft yet. Midweek Magic should be kicking in soon. I might have to do a stream about that tonight. How's the audio if I'm talking kind of like facing the camera versus how is the audio here? What's up, Billy? How you doing? I know the audio is going to sound really good when I'm directionally facing into my microphone, but I want to know, is it still pretty good if I'm looking this way? Asking for a friend. Any feedback would be appreciated. All right. Let's see. Snow Bunny says at. We'll buy a pack for 9 years old. Foundations. I end up getting a free pack. I will sue you. Oh, okay. Well, Guadalupe Guacamole is just some random character on the internet. Huh. I don't know how a made up avocado with a weird face in it could ever. I mean, I don't think avocados have opposable thumbs. So how are you going to hold the phone in order to dial it, to call up, to have your juice contact my juice, Guacamole? I hope you do sue me, because Discovery is going to be so interesting. I wonder how many degenerate things are on your hard drive. I'm guessing a lot.
Discovery is such a fun thing. Let's discover things together. Let's discover things together.
Counter-target creature spell. That's pretty cool. Right. Sounds good both ways. Okay. Oh, that phrasing. Pause. Isn't that what the kids are saying nowadays? Pause. Phrasing. I guess if you're trying to be a cool podcaster, that's how you're supposed to talk. All right. So we're gonna get. Let's see. What do we gotta do? We gotta attack with 45 creatures and blue and black spells. So let's go. Ebony and ivory, they're together in perfect harmony, side by side on my piano keyboard. Oh Lord, why can't we? Because they have a violent tendency, and they wanna raffle stomp poor white guys out on the streets of Cincinnati, Ohio, and then blame the victims. They must have been asking for it. They must have said the wrong thing or looked the wrong way. That must have been how it is. Okay, let's see. I do have to do. I really want to get some kind of a surveil deck going. I mean, I have this one here, but for some reason it doesn't. It seems to lack something, some pizzazz. Maybe it's too many of eidetic memories. Maybe that's it. Maybe it just has too many eidetic memories. We go 2 eidetic memories. We go 3 of these. It just seems to lack something. I can't quite put my finger on what it seems to lack. Yoda, what's up, man? Good to see you. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for supporting the show last night and supporting my crippling cheesy poof addiction. Chat, I'm telling you. I had to sleep in a little bit today because we went a little bit long last night. And my goodness, did you guys really come through as far as like supporting the channel goes? I was gutted. I was absolutely gutted, and in such a good way. I was so shocked and surprised at how how wonderfully generous the chat was last night, and I really do appreciate it greatly. It was amazing. You sure did win a little long. You did win a little long last night. Oh yeah. Well then I had to sleep in a little bit later today because the whiskey caught up with me. The Scotch whiskey caught up with me a little bit. But I had a good night's sleep though. I definitely was able to sleep very well last night. And all right, so let's see. I think I gotta go with 4 of these because it's kind of a crucial card, isn't it? Corral of the Void. I don't know that really works though. I mean, it is an enchantment, right? And that's a legendary. Maybe I only have one of those. Maybe only one of these. Did you wake up with a bit of no hangover at all? I was buzzed. I was pretty good buzzed, but I don't know. It's hard for me to get D like drunk, which I'm grateful for. But sometimes you're kind of like, man, it would be nice if I could just get a little sloshed. Which is kind of funny because those people that seek to try to kill, steal, and destroy, and they want to clip me getting a little lit. Well, the weird part about it is I tend to be a pretty chill dude, man. So I guess I don't understand. I guess they can't really eviscerate me, so to speak, because I just look like a dude who's having a lot of fun. So it's a little awkward for them, I guess. Let's see, we got to get rid of. I do like the Singularity Rupture. That I think it's a great card. I don't know. I just don't know if the Corral of the Void really fits. And that's such a good card. I kind of wish I had more of it. Put target creature card exiled with Darkness Crystal onto the battlefield tab and control with 2 additional. Okay. Yoda Tax says, I dislike, or just like you said, they just want to make you look like a dum-dum, which we all know you're not. Well, I thank you. I appreciate that. There have been things that I've said and done that are probably not good choices. I mean, I think we can kind of agree to that. Let's see. Hold on. Deadly cover. I do like deadly cover. So let's see. Death touch face down. Creatures you control have turned this creature face up. You can exile it. This is a vampire assassin. Whenever an assassin you control deals combat damage to an opponent, cloak the top card of that player's library. I really do like this card, and I want to make a deck out of it. So hold on, let me what shall I do? The Weft Walking. I don't know if maybe we'll just do 2 singularities. We'll call this good, and then I want to make a card based on this Deadly Fugitive. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's make a bruise deck based on Deadly Fugitive. Deadly. Alright, so we got Deadly Fugitive, right? We're going to go 4 copies. I'm going to go standard. Actually, I wonder if there's like an alchemy. Destroy target creature, planeswalker, return target zombie card. Let's go Assassin. Let's see what kind of assassins there are in the game. Karma, how you doing? Good to see you. Hey everyone, do me a favor, hit that like button on the way in. It really, really, really does help out the show. Here we go. We got wait, I wonder if Alicia is an assassin. Alright, so we're gonna go assassins, but we're gonna go mythic and see if there's any mythic assassins out there. And I have to sneeze. Pardon me, I couldn't hit that mute button in time. Alright, so we got a vampire assassin. go with 2 of those. We'll go with we got Masker Girl, Known Killer, and then we have Atrata, Deadly Fugitive. Farmer says, I tried to stick it out last night. Lol, I fell the heck asleep midstream. Yeah, it went really long, but we had fun. I haven't put it to members only yet because I know it was a bit of a longer stream, and I think I want to leave that one up. Just really want to rub it in, the haters' faces. Chat really came through last night. You guys were awesome. Yeah, it was a good time, man. It was definitely a good time. Were you up there when Boot and Killa and we missed getting G Swag up there? That would have been pretty awesome. But K-Far even came up. Katie Zed came up for a couple minutes. And, actually, speaking of which, I need to share this with a few people. I know Killa likes it when I send it to him. Well, he might not show up, but he doesn't often get the alerts. He says, I'll send it to Killa. Karma says, I got some good screen records and screenshots. Okay, all right, fair enough. Are you gonna actually put them out and mention me or something? That'd be kind of hilarious. Let's see. So assassin. I think we're just gonna go. Whenever a non-token creature an opponent controls dies, you may pay 1. If you do, return that card from the battlefield tapped under your control. It is a treasure artifact with sacrifices artifact. Okay. That probably won't go well with what I'm wanting to do with this deck. I did last time too. I don't see a lot of the app mentions sometimes, so feel free to remind me, and I'll go seek it out on your channel so I can support it and try to promote it. I mean, I'm a small channel, but I definitely like to support people that I don't know. That some people think that I see every app mention that gets sent my way. I really don't. I have to actually go into it and remember to look at app mentions. Occasionally, I'll see comments, and then I'll react to them right away. But some of them I miss. Some of them I don't get alerts for. So please don't take it offensively if I don't immediately respond or something like that. It's not my intention. So do I splash some red? I don't think I do. He's an assassin too. That's pretty cool. That's an assassin? Ooh, I might actually go ahead. I'm gonna burn a rare for this, I think. That is such a good card. The Unstoppable Slasher. These guys are assassins too. Plus it has landfall, right? It has landfall. I know there's So we'll roll with this for now, and then we're gonna go to uncommons. So everything that's uncommon that has to do with, if I can plot this, when this enters, you may sacrifice a creature. When you do, target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. Oh wow, wowzer! These are considered assassins, Chat. That's kind of cool. I didn't realize that. Karma says, I don't offend easily. Lol, heck, I didn't even privacy strike butt pirates when they doxed me and out of my personal pictures all over their dumb channel. And G3 or G2 wonders why people don't like them. Yeah. Yep. They are special. Let's see. Course to kill. Enchant creature. You control enchanted creature. Enchanted creature has a base power, a toughness of 1/1, has death touch, and is an assassin in addition to its other touches. It's kind of cool. A little expensive. Here we go. We got Reno and Rude. Menace. When Reno and Rude deal combat damage to a player, exile the top part of that player's library. Then you may sacrifice another creature or artifact. If you do, you may play the exile this turn and okay, he spent past it. Let's put like 3 of those in there. Okay, so we're definitely going to be doing these colors, right? I mean, this is a nice slate assassin. And this is a 3/2 assassin, so not fantastic, but we'll see something. This is pretty cool. So this is a hull carver, and that has death touch. So that makes it so people do not want to mess with it. Karma says, "Hey Yoda," and yeah, Tab is a giant. Whoosh. Literally, between my hubby, Mr. Wizard, Waffle Salter, they were digging at him good. Oh yeah, Waffle Salter was like, it was like Waffle Salter has been in the know for, I don't know, since the beginning, man. It's crazy. Flash flying. When this creature enters, destroy target creature an opponent controls that was dealt damage. I do like it for its flash. This one also has flash, flying, and lifelink. I do like that. You know, I was reading some of that chat. They were really tearing into him last night. The angry vet. Yeah, I don't have any empathy or sympathy for that guy anymore. Like I said, he ruined it, man. Any little tiniest bit of goodwill that could have been garnered to that man is just gone. I have no empathy and no sympathy for that guy anymore. He just he gets exactly what he deserves. So this is Death Touch. This creature enters with +1 counter. Creature died this turn. Tackling slash. I do like this. Rooftop Assassin. Maybe one less of those. That's kind of a crucial card for the deck. Maybe 2 Reno and Roots. I don't know if this is the right call, though. This is a landfall. It's not really a landfall deck, though. You know what I mean? But that'll give me 2 assassins for 3 mana. That's pretty good. How can I make these things bigger? Buster Sword? Yeah, get a bit of... Put in, like, some Buster Swords in there. It was pure comedy gold. Yeah, he was just spurging. He should have came up on the panel, man. I try to give him an opportunity to stand and deliver. He seemed really reticent. Right, maybe we don't need that many of those. Let's see, we're at 6. So. Clear, right? Dark Crystal. Okay, we have one of those. There's an enchantment that I absolutely love. I'm trying to remember. I think it's like 4 mana. An enchantment. I believe it's mythic or rare. There it is, right there. Soth. Sothera, the Super Void. Whenever a creature you control dies. Okay. Yeah, whenever a creature you control dies, opponent chooses a creature they control and exiles it. At the beginning of your end step, if the player controls no creatures, sacrifice it, then put a creature card exiled with it onto the battlefield under your control with 2 additional counters on it. I did like it when he did a 24-hour time to mount when he didn't go. Oh, 24-hour timeout. Yeah. Well, he'll have to tune in Wednesday then, because, well, if he wants to comment, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that has multiple accounts or anything like that. So let's see. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. And morale void. I do like this guy right here. He's pretty badass. Question is, am I too busy right now? I think I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to go here. Maybe 2 of those. How about a destroy? Avatar. I need a way to get stuff back. It's not an enchantment. spelling it right. Oh, okay, hold on. It's because I had the... Okay. There we go. 2 of those. Oh, crud, I missed him being 24-hour ping-ponged. Dang it. When I fell asleep midstream. Whenever one or more cards leaves your graveyard, you draw a card and lose 1 life. This ability triggers only once each turn. I don't know that the Virulent Silencer really fits in this scenario. I mean, it's an alternate win condition. It is an assassin. It would trigger this. Maybe I got 4 of those, right? This is face down creatures you control have. Okay. Whenever an assassin you control deals combat damage to an opponent, cloak the top card of that player's library. Okay. Oh. How about... No, that might be too busy. Huh. My eyes are bugging. My curve is a little crazy. I need more 2-drops, I think. How about removal? What the heck is that? Enchantment. It's 2 mana. Enchantment. I think it's rare. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's uncommon. Must be uncommon. There it is. Nowhere to run. That's the thing. So we'll do that. There's 3 of those. Buster, maybe 2 Buster Swords. And I don't think this really fits, so we're gonna get rid of that. Saw the video with Izzy getting arrested. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna be covering that pretty soon too. I'm gonna be making some shorts of it as well. Katie said was nice enough to send that to me. Saporogenic infection. When this aura enters, target player sacrifices a creature of their choice other than enchanted creature. Then, or when enchanted creature is dealt damage. What do we need here? I feel like I need more. It's not an enchantment. It is 2 mana. Depressure. You have a bitter triumph. Planeswalker or creature. That seems to be Alright, let's give it a shot. Let's go with mana. Alright. A couple of attack lands, which are fine. I do have some fun videos for you guys to watch, so just be a little bit patient. I'm gonna start it up here. Actually, let me get it going right now. How about that? This is a dummy Kruger video, and it has to do with First Amendment auditor in New Hampshire state representative arrested while in a federal courthouse. So we'll see how this one is. Are you ready? All right, let's do it.
States Courthouse, a federal building located. Welcome to the Dummy Kruger channel, everyone. Today's video takes us to the Warren B. Rudman United States Courthouse, a federal building located in Concord, New Hampshire. The featured auditor in today's video is named Frank Staples, but is commonly referred to as Footloose. I've covered Footloose once before, highlighting some of the craziest moments from a 13-hour-long trial that ultimately found him guilty on one of 2 charges of disorderly conduct. You can find that video below in the description. Footloose formulated a 3-pronged plan to record the sentencing of Ian Freeman, a libertarian activist and radio talk show host. Freeman was recently found guilty on 8 charges, including operating an unlicensed money transmitting business and conspiracy to commit money laundering. He was also found guilty of money laundering, but that was later overturned. Per Freeman himself, the prosecutors are looking for the maximum sentence of 20 years in prison, along with over $20 million in forfeiture and restitution.
Ian Freeman addresses a crowd of supporters on the steps of the federal courthouse in Concord Monday afternoon. The Keene resident was supposed to be sentenced on felony charges connected to what prosecutors describe as an unlicensed virtual currency business. The government says Freeman laundered over $10 million in proceeds of romance scams and other internet frauds by exchanging U.S. dollars for Bitcoin.
The whole idea that I had anything at all to do with these scams is just absolutely absurd. It's not true.
Freeman's sentencing has been delayed due to questions over possible restitution.
His sentencing has been delayed until October 2nd, but this was the background that Footloose used to try and get his camera in the court. The first day, which Footloose dubbed Stage 1, follow him and fellow First Amendment auditor, Press NH Now, testing the waters. Before we get to the video, please remember to subscribe, hit the notification bell, like, and comment below. Let's jump right in.
Yeah, I'm on Discord, Vegas. Yeah. I have a very small thing. Why, what's up?
Because I want to get on the same page. So we're not going to try to,
We're not going to try to like go in.
Yeah, obviously. So we know that they don't.
Correct.
So let's make our point.
We're going to let them know. Yeah, we're just
not
going
trying to cause trouble. We're just trying to get the administration order if there is any.
If there is one,
If somebody wants to come out and speak with us in the lobby,
that'd be great.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Yeah. I don't know how much of it's like legit true. I remember there's a picture I got sent a long time ago that seems to be being passed around. And then there's another picture going around. Who's going to announce it? Well, I definitely want to find out about that. I'm a little nervous about nervous isn't the right word. I'm reticent. Reticent is probably a better word. Vips. Zerzuzi. That's the name of the YouTube channel. Good. I definitely want to be mentioned. You have my email. Send me an email. Wow, what's up? I really don't use Discord all that much, honestly. Join my Discord real quick. I'll add you, then you can leave it. Leary, is that how it's spelled? Yeah. Leary is a good word. Yeah, I tend to, I don't know. I usually wait like a few days after something comes out. I don't always need to be the first person to showcase something. I'm okay with other people figuring it out first. Not for nothing. I don't know. I'm not even sure what I'm trying to say here. Destroy. I'm just trying to make a deck real quick, man. Or you can stay if you want, but I presume people will try to attack you if they see you in my Discord. Well, I mean, that's another reason to really not want to invite that into my life. If you know, you know. Like, why would somebody want to invite that into their life? I guess I don't have any of that card. Bummer. Okay. Destroy all creatures with toughness X or less. Use X life. If X is 6 or more, return a creature card put into the graveyard this way to the battlefield under your control. I don't know if I want to have that in there or not. I guess it would be good for wiping out weenies, like massive weenie decks. I'm at 62 cards, so maybe one less of these. Hmm. What am I gonna get rid of? Maybe one less Reno and Rude. Yeah, maybe we'll try this. But I just want to add you as a friend to DM you so we can communicate quick. But up to you if you do. I think I'm generally underscore specific on Discord. You can send me a friend's request. I'll figure out whether or not. I don't know, man. Just my gut tells me, you know, twice bitten, always shy. I'm not trying to cast shade. You know, you're doing your thing on your neck of the woods, and but I do like your video. I don't know, man. Maybe you do know about Guadalupe guacamole, and maybe you do want to see that wench be dealt what she deserves. Or maybe you're in part of it, right? Do you remember your little thing about how you were doing the long troll on me? You never were my friend. You never were on my side. Yeah, I can't. You know what? I can't do it. I'm sorry, man. I can't do it. Yeah, I think I'm too much of a sucker. I think that's my problem. Yeah, I'm too much of a sucker. No offense intended. I just I think I'm just gonna pass, man. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you want her exposed. People that are that degenerate should be exposed. I never really disliked you, Vegas Vips. I never did. But I didn't like what you did to me, bro. I think you really screwed up on that one, bro. But life's about choices, man. Thanks, Vegas Vips. I appreciate you respecting that. And like I said, I don't even dislike you now. I just can't. I just can't trust you, man. And at least not now. I mean, maybe that'll change in the future. Who knows? Who knows?
Blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
I get it. But why is there no video of Ian's trial?
Because they are not allowing it.
So why the are they going to allow us?
I don't know.
Press NH Now actually had a really good question. Why in the hell will they be allowed to record the trial when no one else can? The answer is they cannot per Rule 83.8 of the United States District Court of New Hampshire's local rules. More on that later.
Gentlemen, how are you? Good, how you doing? So we're not trying to come in or anything. I was here before, I don't know if you remember, but Dr. Joe. Yes, he was supposed to give me a copy of an order or something because I did get a picture of this. Photographs for news, advertising, commercial purposes, 41 CFR 102-74420. And I've read that, and it actually says we're allowed to film in the public areas in the lobbies. And so there's no like law or rule cited here. Yeah, wait for Joe to come. I am, yeah, I'm gonna ask him all these things. Because it has to be constitutional, that's all. It is what it is. We're not trying to cause any problems right now.
If this scenario seems familiar, that's because it is. Footloose is using the exact same verbiage Denver Metro Cardigan used when he was arrested and convicted for recording in a Social Security building.
We're about ready to just...
He was shown signs posted to the exterior and interior doors prohibiting his entry, but stated that he need not follow them. Quote, "That's just a piece of paper. That's not a law."
This guy said he's calling the police on me because I'm recording him.
That's what we're talking about. There is this right here, okay?
Let me see. Let me get a shot of that.
And not be to take photographs or make video recordings.
That's not a CFR though. Yes, that's just a piece of paper. Anyone can write. You could write no red shirts.
And you're still doing it.
That's not a law, sir. That's just a piece of paper.
We will be looking back on the groundbreaking case of U.S. versus Cardigan throughout the video.
So that actually says we are allowed to film in the lobbies unless there's a thing, and you said you were going to give it to me last time. I'm hearing you out.
So these are the local rules. These are orders that are established by the stop recording. I'm asking you again.
Not until we see these rules.
That's what I'm here for, man.
I mean,
See these rules.
this is public, right?
So-
8.3.
So my
So
question
that's
is,
it. And then, can I read this?
So
Can I read it?
prohibited.
So why isn't there a notification here that it says the 83 point? There's nothing here.
Just make this easier.
I'll tell you what. If you still hear Vegas Vips, if you're still here, why don't you come on the show tonight and we can have a conversation on the panel. I'll have you up on the panel if that's something you'd be wanting to do. I'd be all right. Your call down there.
But it doesn't cite it there.
The totality of the rules and procedures for this courthouse is well over 100 pages long. The rule that prohibits recording in the building reads as followed. Except authorized personnel in the discharge of their official government duties, all persons are prohibited from photographing, recording, audio or video, broadcasting, transmitting, or televising within the Warren B. Rudman U.S. Courthouse.
So this is the only thing that you're trying to. That thing is. I know. What are you guys going to do if we don't stop? What's the law? What's the penalty for not following this no filming thing? The court will follow through with what? Meaning what? They hold you in contempt? That could be. So you will have to talk to the judge to get us in contempt. I'm just saying. You would have to talk to the judge to hold us in contempt, correct?
So if you want to go put your stuff away and come back in and
Oh, do we want to do that now? We want to do that today? All right. Okay. What, for Monday? For Monday, right? Yeah. All right. So let's go do that. We're going to go put our stuff away and we'll be right back. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
What was that one?
So that was stage one. In stage two, things ramp up a bit when DHS is called and they are asked to leave the building. Footloose replaces Press NH Now with New Hampshire State Representative Jason Gerhard. Jason is a newly elected Republican politician representing Merrimack 25. For a little bit more background on the New Hampshire State Representative, he was found guilty of aiding and conspiring to obstruct justice for Elaine and Edward Brown, seen in the picture here, a fugitive couple who dispute the constitutionality of taxes. Per the New York Times, the Browns are already serving a 63-month sentence for refusing to pay income taxes, but an 8-month standoff with law enforcement at their Plainfield Township home after their January 2007 conviction delayed the beginning of their sentence. Over the course of the standoff, Ed Brown, in a series of online, radio, and newspaper interviews, insisted that neither he nor his wife would be taken into custody alive and threatened a, quote, Waco-style response if federal authorities tried to take them by force. On October 4th, a team of undercover United States Marshals posing as supporters of the Browns placed them both under arrest without incident. A number of Brown supporters have also been convicted for aiding and abetting the couple by providing weapons, ammunition, and basic supplies during the standoff, as well as conspiring to prevent the U.S. Marshals from arresting the Browns. Jason Gerhard, who we will soon see in the video, of Brookhaven, New York, was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison. In an affidavit for a search warrant, a deputy marshal, Roy Wright, said, Gerhart and his co-conspirators temporarily resided in the Browns' home and assisted the Browns in surveillance designed to detect the presence of law enforcement officers, purchased firearms, brought firearms to the Browns' home, and publicly announced their intention to forcefully resist efforts by the U.S. Marshals Service to arrest Edward Brown and Elaine Brown. At Mr. Gerhard's home on Montauk Highway, investigators said they found an active pipe bomb containing gunpowder in a storage box, a rifle, ammunition, and literature promoting anti-government activities. Continuing, investigators also found about 24 complete and several incomplete pipe bombs at the Browns' house. According to the indictment, Gerhard assembled, used, and possessed these bombs. Gerhard would eventually be found guilty, where he spent 12 years in federal prison. Shortly after getting out, he jumped straight into politics. About 2 weeks ago, he posted a video on Rumble with the title saying, State Rep, time to shoot down toxic chemtrail planes in New Hampshire.
So I am putting in a bill to shoot down said planes that do not comply with orders. There's another one, it's the same one, right in front of me.
Wait.
I'm driving, you know what? And if you haven't seen these yet, then you're just not paying attention, so...
The chemtrail conspiracy theories have been around for quite a while. They claim that the contrails left
this
behind
had
by
lifelink.
aircraft are not simply composed of water vapor and ice crystals, but are instead chemicals or substances intentionally sprayed by government agencies or other organizations for various nefarious purposes. Some of those
that's if
nefarious
it's
purposes are
transformed.
geoengineering, mind control, population
silly
control,
me.
environmental harm,
Dang
including
it.
weather control,
Read
as
my
well
card.
as alien involvement. So now that we know a little bit more about this state representative, let's jump back to the video.
That was silly on my part.
Yeah, so my thing is that 83.3 rule that they're trying to use, where are they getting their authority for that rule? And what's the scope? Like I showed you, the scope of those rules says for civil things. So this is not coming in here is not a civil matter. This is a public matter.
So Footloose is basing his argument that he can record in this courthouse on Rule 1.1F, which reads, Scope, Local Rules 1.1 through 83.16, which the prohibition for recording falls under, shall govern the procedure in all civil actions. Frankly speaking, this entire idea seems incredibly impractical from the outset. It raises a fundamental question. How could prohibition be enforced throughout the entire courthouse, as it seems to suggest, while also restricting it solely to civil cases? This notion lacks practicality, especially when considering that the courthouse inevitably handles a mixture of both civil and criminal cases throughout the day.
Well, I'm not an auditor. I don't make money on my YouTube channel or anything. I document my business, and some auditors, they get, a lot of them get paid for it. They make money and they get views off of conflict. So when you're monetized, it's gonna subconsciously or consciously make you say, oh, first of all, you have to do a certain amount of hours every week to get paid. So you have to produce content. So you're already being forced to create stuff. And then, I forget where I was going with that.
Yeah, you start pushing yourself loose.
Yeah, you just start, and then you start creating situations and being a jerk and baiting and stuff like that,
In the title of my video, I labeled Footloose as a First Amendment auditor because he uses the same lingo of every other auditor I've covered in the past. However, he likes to refer to himself as a, quote, nullifier. What I believe he means by that is he is someone who sees himself as a safeguard against unjust laws and government overreach. And to be fair, he portrayed First Amendment auditors in a manner that aligns with my perception of the majority of them, as provocateurs who wield their cameras to intentionally provoke confrontations simply for money.
And then there's case law for filming in public. Glick versus Cuniff, Smith versus Cummings, and this is a First Circuit case too. Is a case, Glick versus Cuniff, First Circuit, 2011, is a case which the United States Court of Appeals for the First Circuit held that a private citizen has the right to record video and audio of police carrying out their duties in a public place, and that the arrest of the citizen for a wiretapping violation violated his First and Fourth Amendment rights. Case arose.
Billy says, old man nap time. Watch it on TV. I'll be out of chat. Everyone, please hit the like button. Old man nap sounds amazing. I just finished some of my leftover pizza from yesterday. Oh, so good. So good, chat. So delicious, chat. It was amazing.
Was when Simon Glick filmed Boston
We'll catch
police,
you on the other side of that.
Boston, Massachusetts police officers from the bicycle unit making an arrest in public park when
Glick versus Knuff gets thrown around a lot by these guys. Glick established a legal precedent that individuals have a right to record the police in public spaces as long as they do so without interfering with law enforcement activities. The problem I see with his argument is that he's sitting in a federal courthouse where Glick, the man arrested for filming officers, was in the Boston Common, a public park in Boston. The fact that he was in a public park was a key factor in the legal dispute regarding his right to record law enforcement officers without violating the law. Denver Metro Audits tried to use the same case law for his case at the Social Security office, but was quickly shut down. This is what I said about that at the time. There was also an argument about non-public forums versus traditional public forums. It reads, government restrictions on speech in non-public forum need only be viewpoint neutral and reasonable in light of the forum's purpose. Interestingly, both the government and DMA side agree the SSA offices are a non-public forum, but that didn't stop DMA's attorney from quoting case law that involved only traditional public forums. The government writes, Cordova's reliance on cases discussing video recording as a form of speech creation is misplaced. These cases relate to recording video in a public forum. The government does not dispute that video recording is afforded some protection under the First Amendment, as are other activities prohibited in federal agency offices by the GSA regulations, such as solicitation, posting flyers, and commercial advertising. It seems they are essentially saying, yes, video recording can be protected under the First Amendment, but so are these other First Amendment activities like solicitation and posting flyers. From my understanding, as long as these prohibitions are viewpoint neutral in a non-public forum, those prohibitions on First Amendment activities are lawful. The judge here makes a clear distinction about recording in a traditional public forum, like the Boston Common, versus a non-public forum, like an SSA building or a federal courthouse.
I don't know if they could spray something or what. Hey, good. How you doing? Good. Thank you. I don't know if they could spray something.
You guys are filming and videoing?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Sure. It says we're allowed to right here.
You're not allowed to, though.
It actually says we're allowed to right here.
Okay.
Building entrances, lobbies, foyers, corridors, and auditoriums for news, unless there is a rule, which is this 83.38.
Yep.
83.8. And there are exceptions here, but before I get into that, the
Okay,
scope.
well, first of all, my name is Inspector
Sure.
Flynn. I'm with the Federal Protective Service. Okay? All right, guys, so here's what I want to do. Okay? You can't do it in here. That's a nice badge.
Thank
can't
you.
do it in here. Okay? There's a building rule that states.
What is
Listen,
that?
Let me finish.
Sure.
Let me finish. There's a building rule that states you can't film inside of here. Okay?
What rule is that?
You're filming it. You were shown that yesterday, I believe, right?
No, I have it right here.
Okay.
In this, it says the scope. Hold on, start. Can I? Local rules 1.1 through 83.16.
Okay.
This is 83.8, so it falls into that.
Yep.
Shall govern the procedure in all civil actions.
So I argued earlier that this argument about the rules only pertaining to civil actions was pretty absurd. But don't take my word for it, because he either didn't look under the criminal rules, or he simply decided to cherry pick that one point about civil actions.
So, I mean, in these situations here, and maybe I'm not making this as transformative enough as it probably needs to be considered fair use. Fair enough. It's because I'm actually learning quite a bit from Domi Kruger, and the way he dissects things and breaks things down. It's quite impressive, actually. Yeah. But long story short, you know, one would think that these quote unquote laws that they're making, right? One would think, genuinely think, that these laws that are being made, that they actually have competent policy and legal advice, and that they've looked it over and it's been examined, right? One would think. So, and unless and until you know for sure that what they're claiming as a policy or a law is actually not applicable, you should be very careful thumbing your nose at what they're doing. I don't even know if what I'm saying is even making any sense. I think one should tread very carefully, I guess is what I'm really trying to say. I think one should be very, very cautious about how boldly they proceed to break rules or regulations or laws or statutes. You should really probably consult legal help before you thumb your nose at it. That's not legal advice to anyone out there. That's just how I might operate in the world. Probably why I'm trying to be as cautious as possible. And especially, like, and in regards to like my freedom of information request or my CORA, and the reason why I'm being kind of cautious about being outraged by the fact that they didn't even respond to my request in email. I mean, there's a possibility that she wrote the email down wrong. My correction to myself would be always have them photocopy it, sign it, date it, stamp it, that the request has been received orally. At least so that way I have a record of that I did ask for that to be done. Right? Now, they might not have been able to furbish it or to for whatever reason, because I didn't do the proper steps. But at least I would have had a paper trail or record. They also would have a paper trail or record. Right? And then we could go from there.
Under the scope for criminal rules, it reads, 1.1 to 58.1 shall govern the procedure in all criminal actions. Civil local rules shall apply insofar as they do not conflict with any statute, federal or local crime, or individual order. The following civil/general local rules shall apply in criminal actions. And if we go down here, 83.8, the rule prohibiting recording, fits directly in that, making it a criminal action.
We're not here for civil action.
Okay.
We're here for public. This is a public forum. This is a public building.
Okay.
A courthouse is typically not considered a public forum in the same way that places like parks and sidewalks are. That's why the Glick versus Knuff case is relevant in this instance. Public forums are spaces that have traditionally been used for public expression and assembly, and where First Amendment rights are afforded significant protection. Courthouses, on the other hand, are government buildings primarily designed for the administration of justice and the conduct of legal proceedings. While they are open to the public and people have a right to access them for legal matters, they are subject to certain restrictions and regulations that are intended to ensure the fair and orderly administration of justice. These restrictions may include security measures, limited access to certain areas, and yes, even rules on prohibited recording.
Can you show us the rule, please?
If you don't stop, then you will be arrested.
Okay.
Okay?
Under violating a building rule.
You're going to be arrested violating these rules. Yes.
Can we talk outside about the rules?
Let's go outside. That's the whole intent of me coming here, is to have you guys go outside.
I just wanted to talk to
So it's like we've been out here filming for like...
Sir, if you want to put the park in the cab, you can't bring the...
Right, that's the problem. And it says right here... All right.
Just let me finish.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. My issue is that I believe my colleagues have a vested interest in what happens in this building. It's on New Hampshire land. New Hampshire is a sovereign entity. So the GSA and all these federal agencies, you guys can make all the stuff you want. That's fine, okay? But as far as I'm concerned, a state representative, part of the people who sent me to account for what's going on, should have the ability to talk to the clerk, who, as far as I'm concerned, is kind of like the head of the courthouse, right? So that's all I want to do is ask about these rules, and then cite New Hampshire state law that gives me the ability to do this. That's my issue.
Unfortunately, your argument's going to be moot because you're on federal property, and federal law trumps state law.
No, it doesn't, actually.
Okay.
So Representative Gerhardt is seeking access to the clerk's office to inquire about the recording of the Freeman case. His claim revolves around the notion that he is being denied access to the clerk's office, although that is not the case at all. He retains the ability to engage with the clerk's office staff as long as he refrains from recording within the courthouse, a stipulation he is unwilling to adhere to. So they finally leave the inside of the courthouse, where we find a DHS representative offering to bring the paperwork to the clerk for him because he refuses to stop recording.
I'm not a lawyer, dude. I'm a carpenter, but this is bogus. You guys know it. I mean,
I'm more of a lawyer than he is.
So anyway, yeah, if you could deliver to the clerk, this is the main thing. Ian Freeman's trial on the Bitcoin thing is Monday. I would like to record that. Sentencing, I'm sorry. So I'd like to record that, and I just find it kind of odd. There's no real mechanism to go get that done. There's no...
I thought you went yesterday to find out about the rules to get that.
Correct. And so that's the problem is, like I was saying, I researched this whole thing about photographing and the prohibitions, right? And there's exceptions. The exceptions.
The judge needs to give you an exception, correct?
No, the clerk.
Okay.
So there's in
so is that in right here that you're requesting that?
No.
No, me, I'm
Why not?
because I don't think I should have to. I'm
Oh,
working
so
for the
you,
government.
no, okay, all right. So
He's-
within this, there's a law
yeah.
that there's a rule and there's an exception, and it says, hey, make the request, but you don't want to make the request because it's your constitutional right.
Gerhard doesn't believe he needs to ask for an exception to record because he, quote, works for the government, which was interesting coming from someone with an anti-government past. Does he expect special privileges because he works for the government? His point is moot
question.
either way because as there are exceptions to record certain ceremonies and procedures in the courthouse, there isn't an exception to record a criminal trial, state rep or no state rep.
So something else I want to point out is this case.
Dude, he doesn't have any.
No, I know. But no, he's the guy. He's
Freeman
cool.
case,
He's
I'm aware.
not the Freeman case.
Yeah.
Glick versus Cunliffe.
Yeah.
Okay, this is about our, and it's a First Circuit case, and we are allowed to film. Held that a citizen has a right
Public
to film
area,
public
yeah.
officials in a public place. The public's right to access is coextensive with that of the press.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a public space. You've already admitted to it. It says public forum right on the thing.
Yep.
So coextensive in legalese, does that mean that with this thing it extends this right because it's coextensive? I'm just kind of wondering what the legalese of coextensive is in this particular regard.
Yeah.
So listen, if you went inside the building, right? Say you went into the Social Security office, right? You go into the Social Security office. There's no filming in there either.
You can get permission from that agency.
There is a mechanism in place to get permission to record in an SSA building, like the officer said. Something DMC said you didn't have to, but was ultimately proven wrong. After a few more cordial minutes back and forth, they leave the premises.
Dude, you understand this rule?
Yeah.
This is they don't have the authority to do this.
Right.
They just stamped it saying they received notice of it. This
Right.
is on, dude.
So I'm like Donkey Kong on Monday, bro.
So what are you doing right now?
I was ready to bro, I'm ready to get it right there. I see me getting it.
I just.
But yeah, no, it's just
What annoyed me-
timing is
What
everything.
annoyed me though is like the tough guy thing.
How about
There's a good cop act.
listen, we're
Hold on,
gonna
let's roll out of here.
what we do
I don't like. Hold on. I don't
what
like
we
you.
do and
Okay,
this
stop.
is for the
Have a
people.
day.
Hold on, we're still recording.
Oh, I thought you were talking.
No, I'm still recording. So what we do is we will offer people on Monday the opportunity to get arrested with us. Let's have like 20 people get arrested,
I
bro.
don't know. I would like to contact other state reps.
That would be great. Let's have
Get
20
them there,
people get
too.
something on the record.
For some strange reason, Gerhard is under the belief that because the clerk stamped that they received a request to record the sentencing of Freeman, that it somehow automatically gives him the green light to go ahead and do just that. He's wrong in this instance, as no such exception exists, like I said previously. Next up is Stage 3, where Gerhard and Footloose intentionally get arrested at Freeman's sentencing because, as they put it, it will, quote, give them standing to challenge the rule. Press NH Now is back for Stage 3, but he declined to get arrested, and as a matter of fact, he says, quote, I'll just wait to see what happens with you guys, unquote. Thanks to the folks at Free Team,
Smart.
the next few minutes that include the arrest will be brought to you without any interruption. Let's get right to it.
Yikes. Big.
So you can't record me. I understand. I'm trying to draw the charge to challenge it later in court.
So whatever you want to charge us with is fine.
He's calling your.
I brought my defense. Constitution.
And I want to say that the scope of the rules is for civil cases.
Oh, okay.
If you look at the scope of the rules, it says civil only.
Are you recording too?
I'm not answering any questions.
You
That
have a
would've been
better
nice
attorney
to
than
have
I do,
it.
apparently.
That's what I mean. You so arrest me, do whatever, and then I'll come back, and when I have to represent myself, it's going to be the same thing in the lobby here. I'm getting in to film my criminal case to challenge this.
He didn't admit that he was either.
Right.
And what are you arresting him under?
Sorry?
What will you be arresting him under? Don't you have to have an articulable, suspicionable
Crime?
thing to
What's the crime?
say,
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
arresting someone?
Yep.
And a warning.
All right.
What's up, Clint?
What's going on? Yeah.
You never got my ID that day, did you?
I can't hear you.
You never got my ID that day, did you?
I still don't understand why you're looking for the fight, but that's okay.
What?
Because this is our protected right.
That's what we
This
do.
is America. This is a public forum for the citizens of New Hampshire. And you're trying to apply a law to criminal cases or a rule, a local rule that applies only to civil matters. So you might want to check the scope of that rule. I'm putting you on notice right now.
Okay. We've checked it.
You've read the scope?
Yep.
I don't care what the rule itself says.
And you would have to file a motion with the court if you want to, that would be the proper procedure.
There is, we talked
guys,
yeah.
let's just, no
we'll
offense,
talk
but
about it.
it's
I'll
like,
tell the judge.
this is the whole legal aspect of
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk to the judge.
So what would you like? What would you like from us to do?
Arrest me. Charge me with whatever your crime you're going to concoct. And that's it. I need to have the standing.
Okay. You understand that the posted rules state that you can't record in the lobby of the...
I understand that that posted rule is for civil cases.
Okay. But I'm telling you, it applies right now. You can't...
That's what you think. Sure, I understand.
You let me finish. It applies right now, and you're given the opportunity to leave or stop recording. So, would you like to leave instead of getting arrested?
Right. Well, I got to be lawful. I haven't heard a lawful order either. I've heard awful orders.
Me too. Two of you.
I'm just not into theatrics. I just want to challenge.
Yeah, let's just do it. Let's get it over with.
All right, you understand, right?
I get it.
Whatever you want to do.
Violated.
Who's
I allegedly violated
violating.
everything.
I'm asking you to stop recording.
Yes.
You're not stopping.
I'm standing
He's
on my
asking us.
constitutional rights.
He's
I'm giving
asking.
you the opportunity.
Sure.
So you're going to stop recording?
I'm standing on my constitutional rights to record in a public building.
Okay. All right. All right, peace first.
Oh, you can't do it yourself. You don't have the balls. You have no balls to do it yourself. Do it.
You don't want to be the one in court, but you'll be there.
He doesn't want to go to court.
Sure.
That's why.
I have no problem with it.
He doesn't have the balls. He's going to send his goons to the corner. Leave the gloves. Hand on the gloves.
Cavity search.
You don't have the balls to do it himself, huh? He's going to send you. You just follow up like that. Just do what you're told.
Yep.
So I'm under arrest. I just want to turn it off.
That's fine.
Okay, but I'll only turn it off completely. I'm just saying, so I might need
So the
it later.
battery doesn't.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, I didn't know what you were doing.
Giving you the same option, sir. You want to stop recording and leave the building, or do you want to be arrested?
I didn't realize.
It was Footloose, right? That was your name? Are you recording? Okay. Yeah. You got the phone?
Yep.
Okay. All right. At this point, you're under arrest. Okay. Turn around.
He does have balls. Look at him. Nice.
The law says if you don't have attenuation, the whole place turns into an echo chamber. What?
The battery. Yeah, don't shut that up. Don't touch my property. Don't touch my property. I'm already cuffed up.
Stop resisting.
I'm not resisting. I'm already cuffed. No, you're trying to take it off and you got me cuffed. It's not going to come off while I'm cuffed. Smart guy. And don't damage my property either. Where are we going? Where are we getting processed?
Right on this floor. Right on this floor? Yeah.
Okay, great.
We're going to take. I don't want this to bump. You're going to have to.
We'll find out. What's the charge? We'll find out on the citation. No, of course not. Because they don't have anything legit, bro.
all bogus. You gotta take one cup off so we can safely
sir.
remove your camera.
Safely, yeah.
Probably should have done that first.
What about the deadly weapons? Shod feet. Shoes are a deadly weapon. You can't allow those.
So that's where we stand today. Both Footloose and Gerhard were both charged with CFR 102-74.385, which reads, persons in and on property must at all times comply with official signs of a prohibitory, regulatory, or directory nature and with the lawful direction of federal police officers and other authorized individuals. This just happens to be one of the charges that DMC was found guilty of when he was arrested at the SSA building. So after the arrest of Footloose and Gerhard, Footloose cranked up a live stream to let his viewers know that Stage 4 was on the horizon.
This is Stage 3. What did I tell you guys was Stage 3? Getting arrested. Stage 4 is what? Stage 4 is going to represent myself at the federal courthouse and wearing my body cam and refusing to take it off. And then what are they going to do? They have to let me in to represent myself. Okay, that's been the plan this whole time. So just because we didn't get through the security today, that wasn't the point. The point was to create the standing and get arrested. Okay, there's a long-term strategy here, and it might take, it might take a while to pan out.
I, for one, am excited to see how this pans out, as I've yet to see a challenge like this in a federal courthouse. I believe these two men have a mighty high hill to climb, but, at least for Footloose, he seems intent on following through with the whole thing. I will be following this case to its conclusion, so please check back in for future updates. Until next time, this is Dummy Kruger, and I'll see you guys on the next video.
Great work, Dummy Kruger. Let's see what's going on here.
Thank you all for being here as we prepare to celebrate Labor Day when we honor the incredible hardworking men and women of our country, which is doing very well, I have to tell you. Every policy of the Trump administration is designed to lift up the American worker, promote great-paying blue-collar jobs, and to build the industrial bedrock of our nation. It's also obviously for great defense. We have the greatest military in the world. We rebuilt it largely in my first term. Some of it was stupidly given away to Afghanistan. For what reason? Figure that one. But it's still a relatively small amount of what, if you compare the concept of what they did, however, is just incredible. But the country is doing well. We're respected all over the world like never before, probably. We went to NATO, as you know, and they went from 2% to 5% of GDP. Nobody expected that, and they didn't pay the 2 and they paid the 5. So, and as you know, we are selling a tremendous amount of equipment to NATO. We're not spending any money; we're making money. But I don't want to talk about making. I want to talk about.
I hope everyone's having a wonderful day today.
Involved with funding Ukraine, but we are involved with trying to stop the war and the killing in Ukraine. So we're selling.
Thanks for hanging out. If you're bored,
millions and millions of ultimately
hopefully you're a little less bored.
The NATO people, where I'm very friendly and we have a great relationship, but that was an amazing trip. So they're funding the entire war. We're not funding anything. I think it's an important point to make because a lot of people don't understand that. And we will continue to do that, and we're trying to get as much as we can for them. They want the American product. The American military product is by far the best in the world, and that's what they want to get. They have lots of options, but that's what they want to get. So the factories are doubling up and tripling up where they make the Patriots and other really, you could say, defense and offensive weapons.
Hey, Melly. Popped in to say hi, GS and chat. Good to see you. It's kind of a chill stream.
so important to all of us around
listening
the state.
to
American workers
the White
already
House
seen a
press
$500
thing.
wage increase this year, and there's no inflation because there's been decreases, tremendous decreases, with thanks to Doug and Chris, and some of the people, the great job they've done with energy. Thank you very much. And Chris, thank you very much. I see you down close to $60 a barrel, and you'll be breaking that pretty soon. And that has a huge impact. So we have groceries are down, energy is way down. Energy is way down. It was $4 and $5.
Good to see you.
A gallon of gas. Look at that, gasoline. And now it's probably $2.25. There's some places it's $2. It broke $2 in a couple of locations in the South. In places like California where they charge such high taxes, it's higher, but it's still much lower than what it was a year ago. So energy's way down, groceries are way down, eggs are way down. Thank you very much, Madam Secretary. You've done a great job. Appreciate it. The eggs were through the roof. They were 4 times higher than they've ever been. And my first question from you people is, what are you going to do with eggs? I said, what's the problem with eggs? That was caused by Biden or whoever was operating the oil cost that I got, because I don't think he knew too much about eggs. Factories are booming compared to before I took office. Domestic
that's
auto
pretty good,
production
actually.
is going to be
Thunder of Unity. I didn't even think of that.
so thrilling in 2 years when you see the numbers. They're building plants all over the country. They're all coming in because of tariffs. They don't
Guy's
wanna
got a good deck.
They don't want to pay the tariffs. And if they build their plant here, they don't pay the tariffs. And they're pouring into our country, and you know about AI and you know about other, but the auto plants, that's the good old-fashioned stuff that I love. The auto plants are pouring into the United States of America. They're coming from Mexico, they're coming from Canada, and they're coming from Europe, all over Europe. And it's been pretty amazing. So factories are booming. And when they actually open, right now they're booming in terms of construction. This is something given to me by Mark Zuckerberg. And you'll see, this is AI now. These are, I never understood. I said, well, because I built shopping centers, and for $50 million you can build a very nice shopping center. So I never understood when they said $50 billion for a plant. I said, what the hell kind of a plant is that? When you look at this, you understand why it's $50 billion. So this is one he's building in Louisiana.
So the question is, how'd your live this AM turn out? Seems like a lot of guacamole supporters. Lol. No, it was fine. Yeah, it was fine, Miss Melanie. I mean, I'm used to having at least a third of my audience is people that aren't really they're there to watch me fail, I guess. I think it's called Schadenfreuden, or I don't know, some German name. But
Anna.
Yeah.
That's Meta, Facebook, as people understand it to be. But look at that, that's the size of Manhattan. So that's superimposed over the island of Manhattan. It takes up a big part of Manhattan. I think they say 81% of Manhattan. So these are big things, and they're going up. A lot of them are going up now.
A lot.
That big.
A lot of them.
Building,
A lot of them.
4 of them.
It's crazy because he says his L's a lot like Chris Ryder says. If you listen to the way Chris Ryder says a lot or all, it's hilarious how Ryder sounds like Trump, and he spurgs out about Trump like insanely. It's crazy.
And others are building similar
huge.
places. And when these things open up, I'll tell you what, our country, we're leading China now in AI, substantially leading China. And the reason...
I mean, it's like... it's like everyone's sitting around him holding their breath, wondering if he's going to say the wrong thing. And he just talks and talks and talks and talks, right? I mean, we can all hear that. We can all see that. And sometimes he says what seems to be the quiet part out loud. Now, Biden also did that, but his faculty was diminished, in my opinion. But it's like everyone's like collectively holding their breath, wondering if Trump's going to say some ridiculous thing or not.
It is because we're letting them build their own electrical facilities, we would need double the energy that we. If you take all of the electricity that we produce right now in this country, you'd have to multiply it times 2 or maybe 3 times. So 3 times more than we have right now for everything.
And I don't understand this whole AI thing. I'm hearing a lot of locales where they have these data collection centers, these giant processing AI centers. I'm hearing this. I don't know how much of this is true. That the electric company is basically demanding a surcharge be added to each and every person that needs electricity. Like, you're subsidizing these people getting the electricity they need to power their data collection sites. It's kind of interesting, kind of fascinating in a weird kind of way. But, I don't know.
Operate your toaster and everything else, okay, 3 times more. And the way we are able to succeed, because China goes out and builds these massive plants. They're right now building 58 coal, in this case, almost all coal-fired plants. And coal is back with this country too, by the way. You know, there's a reason they use it, because it's good. It works for them. And we call it clean coal. We don't call it coal. We call it clean, even very clean coal. But we have coal going up, we have nuclear going up. Nuclear is very much in vogue now. It's safe and inexpensive and great. We don't allow windmills. We're not allowing any windmills to go up. I mean, unless there's a legal situation where somebody committed to it a long time ago, we don't allow windmills. And we don't want the solar panels that I was speaking with the secretary about, because they take up, you know, thousands of acres of our farmland. You see these big ugly patches of black plastic that comes from China, and the solar is, you know, I like solar in some ways, but
Yeah.
for firing.
It's doing a lot of really not so great things to people. It seems anyway. I'm gonna go ahead and page life, and I'm gonna go ahead and do this. This. I'm gonna decline for now. Say no attack. This AI thing, I think it's gonna hurt a lot of people. I really think it's gonna hurt a lot of people. I'm gonna do that. We'll see what happens here.
Bring up your big plants, it doesn't work. It's very unstable.
I think it's going to have a very
The farmers are saying,
not so great
massive blotches
effect
of
on
all over the country. It's so crazy.
on people's bodies.
We're not heavy into that at all. Windmills, we're just not going to allow them. They're ruining our country. They're ruining everyone. If you look at, I hate to mention countries, but you look at the UK, what's happened in UK, they have energy costs have gone through the roof. It's because of wind. They want to do everything. Close up the northern parts of the country. They have oil. It's tremendous. And they close it up, and then I tell them, you're my friends, but man, you're gonna have a bad awakening very soon. It's gonna be very bad. They're ugly. They don't work. They kill your birds. They're bad for the environment. And if you look at them from a house, your house is worth less than 50%. So I'm trying to have people learn about wind real fast, and I think I've done a good job, but not good enough, because some countries are still trying, and they're destroying themselves. Those are countries that are really destroying themselves. I hope they get back to fossil fuel, because right now, Chris, whether we like it or not, fossil fuel is the thing that works, and then you can add nuclear with it and other things, but fossil fuel is what works. If we're going to fire up those big monster factories. But if you look at comparing everything before I took office, domestic auto production is up 18,000 cars a month. And we haven't even started yet, because a lot of these plants aren't built. It's up 18,000 because Ford, General Motors, and a couple of others, Stellantis, they're taking their existing plants and they're, as quickly as they can, they're adding on to them. So when their plants open, because they're building big, modern, beautiful auto plants. But think of that, we're up 18,000 cars a month, and essentially all they've done is try and utilize their space correctly as their big plants open up. It's going to be, I hope they remember that it was this way. I hope this table gets a lot of the credit for what's happening. It gets all of the credit, because this would have never happened. We were going out of business in every way. We were losing. All the car plants were leaving this country. Now they're all coming back in, and they are coming from Canada, and they are coming from Mexico, but they're coming from Germany, they're coming from all over the world. Domestic steel production is up by 100,000 tons of steel a week. We have a 50% tariff on steel, aluminum, and various other things. Copper just got brought into the picture, and that means people are going to want to make steel here. We just made a deal with U.S. Steel. An outside company come in and spend $17 billion on building new plants, new everything. It's great, and it stays right here in America. So we're doing amazingly well on steel, and domestic oil production is up by more than 300,000 barrels a day. That's a lot of barrels, and you're going to be talking about that in a second, I think, Chris and Doug. These two people have done a fantastic job, and we have the oil price down to about $62 a barrel. So just so you understand, because a lot of you like to talk about costs and prices, but I watch so much fake information. Product costs are down. Energy is way down. Energy brings things down. With energy, that's what happened with Biden. He stopped our program, and then he went back to it when he realized that it looked like you're going to be paying numbers that nobody's ever seen, like seven.
Yeah, you'd be actually very interested in me reviewing. You know what? I don't even really want to hear Trump right now. Stand by. Well, I guess we probably should pay attention and find out what's going on. We'll listen to this. But I got a show I'll show you sometime.
So then he immediately went back to the Trump plan that they terminated. But it was too late for them. It was too late. They blew it. They had a great thing going. I gave them something great, and they blew it. Since the inauguration,
I think you might find it interesting.
Over 500,000 new private jobs, and if you notice when the numbers come out, government jobs are going down and private jobs are coming up, and that's what really fuels the country. It's easy to hire people and pay them for doing something that maybe is not very productive, but government jobs are down, actually substantially down.
Good.
And private jobs are way up, and these are the jobs that make money, create a better life. Meanwhile, we've reduced the number of federal bureaucrats by 84,000.
You might have me here.
84,000, and I think the job numbers, you're going to see the new job numbers are going to be through the roof.
So close, but yet so far. My eyes adored you, though I never laid a hand on you. My eyes adored you.
Because of
like 1,000,000 miles away.
All of the different businesses that are moving into our country, and not just production businesses, autos and AI, but
yeah. After this is over, I'm gonna speed it up a little bit though, because I support our president because I support anyone who is trying to make America great again, or at least is alleging to. That's cool. I'm not rooting for my president to fail. Like I wasn't rooting for Biden to fail. I was hoping he would do better. But it's really hard for me to listen to this guy talk, to be honest with you.
You can think of in the world of furniture, as an example, North Carolina. I went there many times when I built a lot of hotels.
AI has taken over the IRS. Interesting.
They were the greatest, most talented people. And
nice.
Then China came along and took all of those jobs away. They would have tariffed them. China wouldn't have taken any of the jobs. But we had presidents said, honestly, and I like some of them, but they didn't know what the hell they were doing from a business standpoint, from running the country. And North Carolina, the most talented woodworkers that you've ever seen. I'd be there and I'd watch them. I'd like to have a rail in that chair. Maybe can you fancy it up a little bit? How about this, sir? And they'd hand me a thing. It was like they were artists. They were unbelievable. And that business was stolen from us by others, not only China but by others. All of a sudden, you're ordering the furniture from China. It was not even close to being as good, but they couldn't compete with it. If we would have said it costs 100% or 200% tariff, You wouldn't have lost one job. It's so sad. But we're gonna North Carolina furniture.
Excuse
and
me.
other places, South Carolina too, to a lesser extent, they make furniture. But furniture, we're going to put a very substantial tariff on. We've already announced it. It'll be done pretty quickly. And when that happens, everyone's going to start. I just tell you, North Carolina, go out and start getting the grandchildren and the children, start teaching them, because some of those incredible artists that I knew as young people, they're older people now, but they still have the talent and they have time left. But they're going to be teaching their sons and their daughters and their grandchildren, and it's going to be a beautiful thing to see. It's going to happen like magic. It's going to happen.
See, I like what he's saying there. We need to get back to the old ways. We need to respect the competent, the boomers that are actually competent, and well, most of which are competent. Some of which are very selfish, but that's kind of neither here nor there. Skills pay the bills.
Without question. It's not like, gee, I hope it happens. It's going to happen. The results of Ford that just announced it's going to create 4,000 new jobs, American jobs. Hyundai, 14,000 jobs. General Motors is...
Yeah, a lot of those jobs are going to like foreign workers, though. Here in Kentucky, there's a battery plant. It's almost all employees from South Korea.
moving production of the Chevy Blazer and Equinox from Mexico back to the United States where it belongs. Don't forget, we lost 55% of our auto production over the last 35 years. 55%. We were the auto capital of the world. Like there was nobody even think about challenging us. We lost 55% of it to Mexico, Canada, China, a lot to China, and other countries. And it's all coming back. We will be bigger. A couple of years, we'll be bigger than we ever were. We'll be more dominant. We'll be bigger. We make great product, too. We're starting to make really great product. We're going to be bigger than we ever were. We're going to be at the level that it was when we were the only one that really, we sold to the world. And we're going to be back selling to ourselves and other parts of the world. It's not going to be the same, but it's going to be equally as important as it was in the heyday 30 years.
That could be the same, but it's going to be equally.
40% of the automaking
Okay, so you
In fact,
just
the unions,
contradicted
auto
yourself,
unions,
dude.
As you know, the top guy didn't know me, didn't like me, and now he likes me. He says, man, I can't believe what Trump has done. But the auto workers voted for me. They understood better than anybody else. The auto workers, the Teamsters voted for me. Teamsters are great.
So, excuse me.
No Republican has ever gotten the support of the Teamsters and the auto workers. And now the head of the auto workers have been so amazing. I watch them on television and they can't even believe what happened. And I told them all what was going to happen. We secured new market access for American agricultural exports all over the world. Our secretary is doing a great job. Thank you, Brooke. And we have negotiated historic trade deals with the United Kingdom, China, Indonesia, Vietnam, the Philippines, Japan, South Korea, who was here yesterday, and the European Union. Foreign nations are now paying hundreds of billions of dollars straight into our treasury, and numbers that nobody's ever seen before. As you know, we made trade deals with a lot of countries, and many of those countries, just to be able to sit at the table, are paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. We made a trade deal with the European Union. They were rough on us for a long time, and now we have a very good deal. We made that with them. Trillions of dollars is coming into our country. Trillions. Far beyond billions, trillions of dollars. Wouldn't you say, Scott? Yes, sir. And in a short period of time. They have to buy $750 billion worth of our energy product. Energy is great. We have more than anybody else, and we're using it. But the European Union is a done deal, and Japan is done. I heard there was a problem with South Korea, but we met yesterday, and they're done. We didn't do anything. We just got the same deal. He honored the deal. They wanted to see if I don't even want to say it, but they wanted to see if they could do something. But they honored the deal, which is nice. And we cut the previous record-setting trade deficit, I hear, just came out. We cut it in half already. We haven't even said. We've only been here really for a few months because, you know, it takes you a little while to fix up the Oval Office and do those things, prepare for the battle, right? So we've really only been here for a very short period of time, and we cut the trade deficit in half. Is that right? That's fantastic. I didn't even think we were going to do that. And
If that's true, that's pretty impressive, isn't it? I know some people would probably hate to have to admit that, especially if they're not a fan of Donald Trump. Again, I'm not his biggest cheerleader, but I am rooting for him to succeed. If it means being our country is a better country, then I certainly want him to succeed.
And remember, these are things that are being built. These things, are, all these numbers, they're not open yet. When they open, you're going to see things happen in the United States that nobody's ever seen before, including our country in its heyday. And I had the greatest economy in the history of our country my first 4 years, despite COVID, which was a very unfortunate situation for the whole world. We did a great job with it. Never got the credit for the job we did. Operation Warp Speed, people say, is one of the greatest achievements ever.
Whoa, bro. All right, here's where you got to pump your brakes at GS. Do you enjoy a good bottle of bourbon whiskey? I do, actually. I have some Scotch whiskey here. I don't know if you can see it behind me here. Yeah, so there's a few whiskeys down here, and I've got a few over here that I collect. I'm trying to collect some of them. What's up, Katie Z? I don't really, just popping in to say hi and to hit the like button. I appreciate it, Katie Z. I hope you're having a wonderful day. And oh, by the way, Vegas Vips was in the channel. He might still be lingering, but or somebody that was at Guadalupe Guacamole came in, or it was a different name, but may or may not have been Guacamole. And then Vegas Vips came in and was trying to get my Discord information, wanted to invite me to his Discord channel. I'm leery. I think leery was the word that we described that best suited it, about interacting with him. But he may be on the channel tonight, and in regards to, he says he has information about Guadalupe Guacamole. He's not a fan of hers. He wants to take her down. He wants to expose her. That's what he claims anyway. So whether or not he's part of the problem, part of the solution, remains to be seen. But I've been burnt by him so many times. But he might be on the show tonight. And if you're not busy, around 9 p.m. tonight or so, feel free to come in and hop in, and we'll talk to you later. So yeah, I do enjoy a good bourbon whiskey. It's probably one of my favorites to drink is bourbon whiskey. But my whiskeys are like $30 to $50 a bottle. That's kind of like my range, unless I'm buying something to collect. In which case, unless I'm buying something to collect, in which case I'll spend a little bit more, but I probably won't be opening it. If that makes any sense. Widow Jane Lucky 13 may be worth a shot. Okay, remind me. So just keep reminding me of that. Or better yet, let Morning Mist know, because she's the one with the better memory, and she's the one that usually ends up going to Class 6 and picking up my whiskeys. So if you don't mind, if it's not too much trouble, Miss Melanie, if you could just say so. What's up, Mr. Monday? Good to see you. Pleasure to see you. Oh, Vips, if you want to use that body cam of Izzy, you have my permission as long as you credit me. Roger that.
In politics or in the military, because it was almost a military procedure. But everybody, including Putin, said that Operation Warp Speed, what you did with that, nobody can believe it. And we did a great job, but it was a horrible pall over our country. We had a very dark cloud over the world. That was a very, very bad thing that came out of Wuhan, which I said it came out of Wuhan. That's where it came from. And China suffered greatly, but everybody did.
China.
But we did a good job with that, as good as you can possibly do, and we came back, and now we're stronger than ever before. If I didn't win this election, this country was gone. I'm telling you, economically it was gone. None of the things that we're talking about would have happened. And the whole world was robbing us blind. Friend and foe. They were stealing our jobs, our money,
Facts.
our capital.
Facts. What's up, Killa?
We would have been a bankrupt, broken ship.
Let's see, $130 bottle, kind of hard to find. Okay. Says, yes, so I couldn't open that thing you sent me because they linked it to your account. So to open it, you would need to log in with your name and password. It is always sus when people do that way. Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm here working and lurking. All right. Figured as much, Killa. Katie Zed says, that really goes for anyone who wants to use any of the info for my FOIA requests I've done. Feel free to just credit the person who paid for it. Yep. Yep. And I donated back to you for that. Hopefully I pitched in enough to... let's see. Hold on, chat. So I'm going to do... Can I do this? I think I can do this. Then I can do this.
Shell. And that's the way it is, but we're doing just the opposite.
I hope I'm showing you enough respect.
I also proudly signed the largest working class tax cuts in American history. So the bill that, I'm not going to use the term great big deal, but that was good to get it approved, but it's not good for explaining to people what it's all about. It's a massive tax cut for the middle class. It's a massive tax cut for jobs. And it's, I mean, think of it, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security. So seniors, I don't know how you can vote for anybody else. And, just think of that, and no tax on overtime. So you work overtime.
Last turn. Absolutely, Jess. You didn't need to, but I appreciate. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it really does help out when your chat pitches in. It really does. Last night was insane, the support I got from the community. I was just absolutely gobsmacked and leveled. I was like, I got coffee in my beard. The generosity was through the roof last night. I basically last night I made in one night. Yeah, it's well, he and quite a few other people were very generous. Last night I made in one night, even after YouTube gets it cut, as much as I made the entire month of last month. I mean, what an absolute blessing! What a wonderful blessing that was, and I greatly appreciate it. All right, let's see.
Like this soundbite. You know, they have all these sound bites. They send it out. I don't know. Some guy sends out a word, and everybody uses it, including the fake news. Some of you are here right now. I'm looking at you, and it's death. They use the word death. No, it's actually life. It's almost like a newborn life. It's not death. That's their soundbite. The bill is death. It's not. We strengthen Social Security. We strengthen Medicare, Medicaid. The job we've done on Social Security, the Democrats got in, Social Security is over because the country's going to fail. There won't be any Social Security. And I made that pledge to you. We're going to take care of Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and we're doing that in spades because the country is becoming so successful again. And it hasn't been this successful.
Oh, he just quit.
I think in the
That's
end,
all.
it will never have been this successful.
Fair
I don't
enough.
believe it does with what's happening.
All right, we made it into diamond chat. Cool.
As a result of the bill, the average police officer will keep an extra $1,000 a year, at least in overtime.
Let's see. Wowzers, you deserve that and more, Geos. I appreciate that, Miss Melanie. And it's like, you know, you can be discouraging sometimes because you can go like quite a bit of time without, you know, anybody, you know, helping the channel out and showing it some love, you know, because I think time is valuable. I think the currency that you guys pay, if you're chatting, that helps. If you're sharing, it helps. If you're liking it, it helps. You're boosting the algorithm. It all helps. And I know not everyone's able to monetarily contribute. But yeah, I'm so glad he was in the stream we did together so he could find you. I am too, man. I don't. He basically said that he's made some moves in his life that made him, you know, pretty. You know, he's doing well. And I guess being a brokey like I am, but I'm so wealthy in so many different ways. It doesn't make any sense to me. The gratitude that I feel that, and I get it when you have it like that, and you want to support a channel. I sit in amazement. You know, like Finkel donates $100, $200. I'm like, dang. I mean, that's, and it makes me kind of go. You know, am I just a simple dude who lives a very simple life? Am I a brokey? Did I not make good moves in my life where that, to me, that's a lot of money to be able to just drop on somebody? Or am I just being blessed? Right. Cause I've blessed other people too. You know what I mean? In whatever way I was able to bless it, whether it's helping them out or, you know, helping them, you know, if they're older, to do chores around the house or to cook for them, or my time or my canned goods or my expertise or my tutelage. I mean, there are many things that a person can tithe to other people. Your time, your attention, money is just one tool, right? Now, money's not evil. It's the love of money that's evil. But it's like, so I don't want it to sound like in my mind, just dropping 2, 3, 4, 5, 600, whatever, 1,000 or whatever on somebody's stream to donate to them is just, it's mind boggling to me. But I think I've always kind of like really, like I had a C4 body style Corvette coupe with a you know, the top would come off. It had a sunroof and had a hard top. The thing needed a paint job almost since the day I bought it. It needed a lot of work. The interior needed to be completely redone, and you know, the paint job alone would have costed more than the car was worth. And the whole time I had it, even when I was in the military, I was back in, I think, 06, I bought it when I was down at Fort Polk, Louisiana. That thing got shipped over to Germany with me. I should have sold it when I was in Germany if I was smart. I could have made so much money over there for that car. It would have been ridiculous. But I couldn't in my mind justify socking a bunch of money into a toy when my kids needed money, you know, my wife needed stuff or I needed stuff. Right. I just, to me, I couldn't justify like spoiling myself. Like it seems selfish, right? Um, so I guess I just never really. It was a red. It was a little red Corvette. It was an 1986. Um, great car. It had like 40,000 miles on it. So really low miles. It just needed a lot of TLC as far as like cosmetics goes. It was a little rough. I just really couldn't justify it, and so I always kind of like I went without. My wife went without most things. Right, drive a '98 red Corvette T-top, nice T-tops. Yeah, I like I think the C2 body style. I like the Stingray. I think it's C2. Maybe it's C3. That might be C3. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about the Corvettes, but I did enjoy them, and I did enjoy. I got some pictures somewhere. I'll show them at some point in time. But yeah, that's in my rearview mirror now. But I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is that although it blows my mind, to receive a blessing like that from somebody that's able to bless me like that, because it's not something I'm monetarily really able to do. I do give in other ways, and because somebody could look at me and be like, "Well, you're a brokey. That's why you're a loser. You didn't make good choices in your life. You didn't make the right investments, or you weren't the right place at the right time." I mean, detractors could say all kinds of stuff, right? And get the tickets too. That's funny. Your detractors are always going to try to kill, steal, and destroy. But when I say to you that I've been so insanely blessed and I'm so wealthy in so many ways that to me is immeasurable, that I believe God has poured a blessing into my life, and I'm not always a good steward of it. I try to be. And a lot of times I know for a fact I don't deserve the grace that God shows me and the blessings that God allows to happen in my life. But I'm very, very grateful. I think maybe because of the fact that even though I sound cocky and I sound really brash, at the end of the day, I'm actually a very humble person, and I'm an insanely grateful person for what God has put into my life. And I really feel like when they talk about abundance and living life more abundantly, I've had this conversation, and I think a lot of people, they don't have a money problem. They have a management problem or a budgeting problem. Same thing as management, I imagine. I think that shaken up, stirred, and pressed down, that God has filled my storeroom so many times. And the blessings that God has heaped upon me, I can't even gather them fast enough. And a lot of them will slip away. And for that, I say, thank you, Jesus. And God is good. I'll just leave it at that. Let's see. Wow, C4. I drive a 98 red. Cops follow me around. I got tickets too. I'd love to see pictures when you're ready to show us. Yeah, I'll have to take a peek and see where they're at. They might be on my other computers. I think they used to be on my Facebook, but because I deleted my Facebook all those years ago, I kind of lost a lot of that stuff.
And the average waiter or waitress will keep nearly $2,000 extra in the fact that they would have had to pay that kind of money on tips. And I never realized that the government was so strong on that. But waiters would tell me that the government would go after them. It was horrible. That's how it all started with me. It just was incredible. And the biggest thing was, again, the $4 trillion that they found. They said, well, that was nice. They should have announced it. I could have told them that. And I don't know.
I'll have to try to find some.
A lot of people didn't understand it. Actually, a lot of good people didn't understand it. But now they're saying, Trump was right. They never...
Well, I really do. I fail quite often, but I really do. I'd rather show people kindness and respect, and I'd rather treat them with dignity. I really would. That would be my normal default choice. And sometimes people don't let you. Sometimes people just won't let you.
Seen anything like this. And I don't know what it is, Scott. They didn't understand what we were trying to explain to them was going to happen. Everybody's moving back to the United States. They don't want to pay a tax. If they don't, If they're not here, they have to pay a tax. And it didn't seem that complicated, but it's working at a level that nobody can imagine. You know, this is working $4 trillion, but that's a big number. It's a number that nobody ever heard of before. But $4 trillion is exciting. But that's nothing compared to what's happening in open. Some of them haven't even started hiring yet. They're under construction. So it's construction jobs, but it's not the big number. And the big numbers, when they open, they're going to be very successful. It's a revolution. We're also working on things to ensure that the awesome power of...
Yeah, I think this is a Remember the Past deck. I think Sephora, I think, will be in here.
Artificial intelligence is used to benefit all Americans, including American workers and also American children. And that spirit, our wonderful First Lady has just announced a presidential AI challenge. It's going to be a very good challenge, I can tell you. She's put her heart into it, which will inspire the...
Yeah, I don't like it either. It's like fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me kind of thing, though, you know? Yeah. At some point in time, I guess a man's got to learn his lesson on whom he should or shouldn't trust. Right?
The next generation to stay on the cutting edge of this vital technology. This is the new internet, the new computer, the new television, the new everything all put together in one. This is why when I show you a picture like that, I'm going to show you this. This is a factory superimposed over the island of Manhattan. And you have many of them being built right now all over the country, which soon to start.
So he's saying the quiet part out loud. He's putting in all this AI stuff, and I'm telling you, it's going to do bee colony collapse. You're going to see flocks of birds just falling out of the sky dead. It's going to mess with migration. It's going to mess with things growing or not being able to grow. I think there's going to be a lot of interesting ramifications about this, about what's about to go down here. All right, let me see what this is. Let's go. All right, we're going to go, let's see, destroy target enchantment. There's that. Should I destroy an enchantment? I think I should, huh? I think I should do that and that. Or should I draw? I think I'll do that. Enchant. Okay. I get to draw 4 cards. That's pretty nice. I'm going to go ahead and swing and swing.
Some of them.
Sorry,
Some of them
chat.
started. This one has actually started. It's in the great state of Louisiana. The First Lady is working very hard on this, and it's an important initiative. And Melania, when she puts her mind to it, nobody can do better. There's nobody. So every young person should go to ai.gov to learn more. AI.
So I do want people to understand that, and I appreciate that sentiment, Miss Melanie. For me, it's one of those situations where it's like I kind of put myself in that. I'm not a victim. I keep extending myself and allowing myself to be taken advantage of. So it's kind of, please set a reminder for your live this evening. Please set a reminder for your live this evening. What does that mean? I haven't done the thumbnail yet. I'll do that here pretty soon. Actually, that's probably not a bad point or a bad idea.
AI.gov to learn more, and you'll see it's a great challenge. I think it's going to be a very modern kind of a challenge that involves AI, which is very exciting for people. So I want to thank her, raise a lot of money for children. We're putting America first, and we're going to be putting the American worker first. And, you know, the Republican Party has picked up 4 million new people, 4 million. The Democrats have lost 2.5 million. Other than that, they're extremely happy. No, they're very depressed. They're very depressed. And their new box that they've fallen into is crime. There was a consultant on one of the shows this morning. I was watching the
Notification. Oh yeah, I haven't set it up yet.
And he was screaming, "No, no, don't let him do this to you. Don't let. It's another trap. It's another trap." What he's talking about, like men playing in women's sports. They said that's an 80-20. No, it's a 97-3. It's 97-3. Like transgender for everybody. They fought for it. They're still fighting for it. I saw a guy today, a politician that you all know very well, fighting like hell for men playing in women's sports. You don't understand. They're human beings also. Well, I agree with you. But you can't have a 7-foot guy playing basketball with the women. You know, it's one of the little problems in life. And
nice.
We all have our place. It's okay. I've got my place too. But this guy's screaming, it's another trap. And this is the worst of all. He said, because this is crime. Trump is saying he's against crime, and they're for crime.
Okay, I just can't. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I just can't. I can't. Well, man, he goes on for a long time here, chat. All right, maybe he says something.
No, he's going, it was funny. No, it's a trap. Don't do it. And then I saw this poor, stupid Chuck Schumer, the guy. He looks like he's aged
Chuck
100
Schumer.
years. And I don't like getting into looks. You know, looks don't mean anything, right? When you're in politics, looks don't matter. I look at Pam, I would never say she's beautiful because that'd be the end of my political career. Glory, secretary. But I will tell you, this is the best of all.
Trump is he's thirsting for Pam Bondi.
Guy got thrown out of his business by his family. I know the family. I was partners with the family. Nice family. I like the family, but he was no good. They threw him out. He's governor of Illinois, and he goes about Trump. We don't need his help. Chicago is the worst. These places are really bad. Crime in D.C. was the worst it ever was. You know, they make up stories. Crime in D.C. was the worst ever in history, and now over the last 13 days, we've worked so hard. And we've taken so many. There are many left, but we've taken so many criminals, over 1,000. I watched a man from Maryland who said to me, I mean, sir, you're the greatest president. You're doing an unbelievable job. What a great job. Governor Moore, has anyone heard of him? He's another hopeful for president. I don't think so.
That's kind of cool. So a friend of mine is installing HVAC at Trump's Mar-a-Lago home. Yeah, I don't... Like, I think he's entertaining. I think he's funny. I don't know. I don't know if he's being used, if he's playing a part. There's just something I can't quite put my finger on that I just don't trust. I don't know, man. I don't know. I hope he's not a traitor to this country. I hope he's not selling us out. But I really have to wonder. You know? I really do have to wonder.
But I met him, and I didn't realize it was on camera. Did you see they caught him on camera? I was at a game, I don't know, like the Army-Navy game or something. And I met him in a hallway. And as usual, you do your job very well. One of these great cameramen had it on tape. But I met this gentleman. I never met him before. Sir, you're doing a great job. You're doing an unbelievable job. Thank you very much. And he goes, no, he says, oh, Trump is a dictator. He's a dictator. And a lot of people have so the line is that I'm a dictator, but I stop crime. So a lot of people say, you know, if that's the case, I'd rather have a dictator. But I'm not a dictator. I just know how to stop crime. And you would think that Illinois would have such a problem with crime, such a bad governor. He should be calling me, and he should be saying, could you send over the troops, please? It's out of control. It's out of control. In New York, it's out of control. Not as bad as Illinois, by the way. Not even close. In California, you would have not had the Olympics had I not sent in the troops. Sent in the National Guard. They did a fantastic job. We had the Olympics.
Yeah,
the World Cup
that's
coming.
true, Miss
I got them in
Melanie.
my first term, and I was really sad because I said, oh, boy,
That's true.
I got them, and I won't be president. And little things happen. Thank you, God. Thank you. No, little things happen. I got think of it. You could ask Johnny. Johnny would tell you he's the head of World Cup. He's a great guy, too, great commissioner. But he's the head of the World Cup. He said Trump is the only reason we're doing this. And the sad part is that I was not going to have it. I would have to be, probably I wouldn't have even been invited to the game, depending on who's president, right? And I got that. I did not get 250, okay? The 250th anniversary, I did not get. I'd like to claim it, if I might. But I didn't get that. That was whether I was president or not. It was still 250. I'd like to take credit for it. What I will take credit for is we're going to have a better celebration under Trump than you would have had under some stuff. That I'll take care of. We're going to have a safer place, Christy, because of you and Tom Homan and everybody, right? But, so we have 250 coming up. We have the World Cup coming up, which is like having 45 Super Bowls. And we have the Olympics coming up. So we're going to have a very exciting 3.5 years remaining. We're going to have a very exciting, it's going to be done properly. So I just want to tell you, our country's in incredible shape. Our military is strong and powerful and respected. We had some fantastic decisions from the Supreme Court that let us put the people into the military and other businesses that are best for the job as opposed to some reason that is killing our country. That was
Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Thank you for that.
You can now go into a company based on your ability as opposed to being forced in based on some factor.
Meritocracy, exactly.
Very, very big decision. And we've had a lot of great decisions, and we've all made some great decisions. I want to thank Scott. It's unbelievable what's happening financially with you and Howard. And the Vice President's involved in everything, and he's been great. Marco has been... Really, I think you're born for this job. I don't think you should ever run for another office. I think you should, really. You're so good at this. He is so good. And everybody likes him, everybody likes him. But everybody, much more importantly than like, I think you would say is respect. They respect Marco. They respect all the people around the table. So what I'd like to do is, I'd like to go around the table. You seem to like it. Your audience seems to like it based on ratings. And I want to mention, about crime because we have a young lady here, Iris, of Epoch Times. You're Iris, aren't you, huh? And I heard you were very savagely mugged in the city. And I'm not going to let that happen under this administration. And that was last year. And would you like to mention what happened? you want to listen to this?
We're happy to share that story to the room and to the broader public. My name is Iris Tao. I'm a White House correspondent for NTD, the sister media of the Epoch Times. So more than 2 years ago, it was a Saturday morning in broad daylight. I was on my way to work, and a young man with a black ski mask pointed a gun in my face and threatened me to hand over my phone, my wallet, my laptop, and everything else. And when I refused, he used the butt of his handgun to strike me across the face, in the cheek, or what some people call pistol whip me, before running away. And that has deeply traumatized myself and my family. Ever since, I've never dared to walk into the DC at night, ever. And my family was extremely worried. So, Mr. President, thank you so much for what you're doing right now, because
being honest.
such incidents involve not just me, but also my family. If he had shot me, I could have died right there in the middle of nowhere without my family, or my friends. I think back then, I think 2023. Just started my career here in DC without even starting a family. And now I'm very blessed to have this opportunity to.
You had a gun pointed at your head, and you probably figured that he could have pulled the trigger because these are animals that don't know what the hell. They couldn't care less. So pulling the trigger to him is a very minor event. I'm sure he's done it before. So how did you? And you did refuse to give it, which would probably
Hey.
say that was not.
Oh, so good to see your name in the chat again, Finkel. How you doing? Glad you're home. I've been following most of your exploits, and I'm glad you're home safe and sound back in your area. Hope you're doing well. Hope you got recharged. I met some National Guard folk from South Carolina. Turns out they don't know what their mission is. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Oh my goodness, that is so cool. What the heck did he? Oh, he did doppelganger. That's really neat. I should have got rid of the other one. I think we'll call that good. Yeah, I'm glad you're home safe. And listen, keep going out and asking questions. So I love your driving videos. Your videos of driving, yeah, me too. I enjoy them. I enjoy your pontifications. So when you were saying that there was an odd smell with that lady, were you being like serious? It was like a musky kind of like marijuana sewage kind of smell. Oh, thanks. The drive/music videos was GS idea. If it flops, I will blame you. No. Okay. What I meant was when you're driving and you're taking video. Okay, let me explain it a little bit more clearly. I didn't mind that at all, but I think playing music, you're going to run into problems with the copyright. But like when you're just driving and recording where you're going, you can take that video, just mute the sound in your editor, and then you could while you're live streaming and pontificating and talking about things, and that way people have this visual stimulation behind them. Let me give you an example of what I mean. Let me find a good example of what I mean. Let me open up a new. Well, hold on. Let me just so we'll go truth stream media. That's all one word. Okay. Let me kind of give you an example of what I'm talking about.
How do we start this video?
Okay. This may or may not have it, but there are sometimes she'll talk like she's talking now, right? And she'll have like they'll be driving in the car and she'll have that as B-roll footage, as filler, if that makes any sense. But you might actually like this channel.
I was going to ask you that.
Everyone's distracted right now.
Right here,
All this
see what
stuff
she's
is
doing?
Going on.
Like you see this right here? Here, watch. So this is a husband and wife, right? Yeah. Oh, dude, tell me, having children is a young person's game. Having grandchildren, oof, I can't imagine being a grandfather of 70 to 80. Man, it will run you ragged. But so you see, they're pontificating and talking, and then they have B-roll footage of them driving around town, and then they can change it slightly to make it a little more artistic.
And they're fighting amongst themselves.
Kind of like this.
All of that, though.
And the list.
The list, which I think is extremely important.
Gotcha.
I mean, I think if you find out that you're being run by criminals who are blackmailed on both sides of the aisle, it's probably a pretty important thing to know. But
so, do you see what I'm saying now, Finkel? Like where you have all this B-roll footage, you can fast forward it. Hey, Scotto, how you doing? Good to see you. So you got this like B-roll footage, right? And then you can have it, and as you're just kind of talking and you're chatting with people, and you're just kind of telling a story or just pontificating. And you have this playing in the background because you got a really cool background already with the ocean. But you can have that playing in the background as a little like distraction for people, if that makes any sense.
Behind all of that, there's one thing that, well, it's a fact that the government is admitting about it.
And then like as you're doing it, like even if you just made like a video and then you were piecing together like some of your footage of going around Washington D.C. minus the actual sounds of the city, unless you wanted to include that for a purpose. So I don't know if that makes sense or not. So. Oh, that's cool. What's the channel name? This is Truth Stream Media, and I really like them. They're, I believe, a Jewish couple. They're called the Dykes. They're I believe it's Dykes. And they live in Texas. They've got some really, really good shows. They've been coming out kind of like you have been about the government and what it's doing right now, about the arming and putting military in Washington, D.C. A lot of rumblings about this is kind of like trying to like boil the frog real slow, get us all conditioned to expect to see military people on every street corner, basically asking to see our papers. It's slowly conditioning us, perhaps. So I think you'll enjoy it, but it's called Truth Stream, one word, media. So Truth Stream Media
Itself. And no one reads these reports, and so it's basically like every year they say some of this stuff, and they admit things, and the media is not doing its job, so it's not going to tell you this. Nobody's really talking about it. They are, but they're not. They're not showing you in plain language that you could actually see. Well, I won't say plain language because the way they write these reports is very
It's not that plain.
It actually is mind-numbing and obtuse and vague and done in such a manner that you will actually fall asleep by page 2, so you'll never get to page 215 and actually see what's going on. That's what they actually do. But you need to see this for yourself.
Melanie says, waiting for your visit to Wilton Manors, Florida. Gotcha. Yep.
You need to show this to your friends. They need to see it. You need to go look this up. Read it for yourself, too, when I'm done here. I'm not going to read you all 245 pages of this because you will fall asleep. Your brain will liquefy. It might leak out your ears.
Yeah, everyone talks about the $37 trillion debt clock and counting at a crazy rate. It is crazy. It's totally crazy. But then, more quietly, they have an annual report from the Treasury Department to Congress on the real government financial condition, which includes
So it would be interesting, like Finkel, if just reviewing some of these videos. I've never once had them even complain about me showing their videos. I always try to be very respectful to their channel. Just talking about it, breaking it down, criticizing it, respectfully, or appreciating it, or using it as a tool. Because they do a lot of research. They do a lot of the receipt finding for you. I mean, of course, you can trust but verify it if you don't necessarily believe the source. Yeah, I mean, I find it to be a very good channel. Very well thought out channel.
drastically more money in unfunded liabilities and other obligations that the federal government has signed on to. This report was put out by Brian McGlinchey of Stark Realities, and it was over on Zero Hedge.
And it says right here, according to him, that we're not in $37 trillion in national debt. Everyone got the little debt clock. But that's not true. Actually, according to a barely publicized Treasury report, the actual grand total of Uncle Sam's obligations is more than $151 trillion.
Wow.
That's insane. So I thought, I'm going to go get the actual report, though, because I want to see these numbers for myself.
See, this kind of reminds me, I don't know if Finkel's still in here or not, but this kind of reminds me of how Finkel breaks things down. I know that Finkel pretends that he's not a very smart person, and it doesn't mean he gets a lot of things right, but I think Finkel is a very thorough researcher. I think once Honey Badger gets his claws into something or sinks his teeth into something, it's really hard to muckle away from it.
I'm one of those people. I like to do that, even though I hate reading reports like this because, like I said, they're written in language that's meant to hypnotize you and put you to sleep before any meaningful conclusions can be drawn from what's written in them. And I hate it. And I hate it with a passion, okay? The fire of 1,000 suns. But I did this anyway. And once I started doing it, I realized that there's no way for any of us to actually know anything about any of these numbers being true, real, even remotely close to accurate representations of reality. Nothing. Okay? So you need to see this report for yourself. I've highlighted some things. Now, it goes straight into this letter from Janet Yellen that was written in January of 2025 about how great everything was. They started off on a really positive note about how positive everything is. Inflation's down, unemployment rates are near historic lows, economic growth is strong. They say all the buzz phrases that should make you think that everything is just peachy. And then they start going through the contents and notes and all of this stuff, right? And it's a lot of charts. It looks like a PowerPoint presentation someone gave in the 90s. It's actually really sad that this much money is spent on the government that can't even write a report that doesn't look like this. But anyway, I figured out once I started scrolling down, and there's some pretty crazy stuff in here, but I'm not even going to get to that because you don't even need to do all of that. What you need to do is go straight to page 215. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go straight to page 215 because this is what you actually need to know. Because you'll read all this other stuff. You'll see all these charts. You'll be like, this is very official looking. All of these numbers, all of these bullet points, all of these figures, blah, blah, blah. All this talking, all these words, all this semantic house of cards. But if you get down in here.
You're talking about page 208, but the PDF is page 215.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Technically, it's on the page written is 208. But if you type in the page number at the sidebar, it'll be 215. Yes, thank you for clarifying that. But this is where you will come upon the Independent Auditor's Report from the U.S. Government Accountability Office. This is what you actually need to see, all right? Because for 28 consecutive years now, the Government Accountability Office has been disclaiming opinions about all of this information that's in this report for 28 years. What does that mean? It means that the auditors are unable to obtain sufficient information, evidence, data to even express an opinion on what is being communicated in this report, let alone to actually audit or evaluate any of it. Which...
I accept it. I do. I don't know if you're trolling me right now, but yeah, I'm not holding a grudge. I just figure people are going to say some things, but yeah, I don't have an issue with it. I mean, I'd prefer that I don't say some abusive things that I say too, you know, but sometimes my mouth gets away from me. And, so yeah, I mean, as for me, I'm not holding a grudge. So yeah, you're forgiven. I mean, what does it say? Like, if you don't forgive others their trespasses, then how can your heavenly Father forgive you of your trespasses? So, forgiving and forgetting are two different things, though. There's some people that have done things that I'll never forget. But I do try to be a forgiving person. I appreciate the sentiment of that. I hope it's genuine. I really do.
Suggests that the reliability of the information contained in this report is basically non-existent. There isn't any, because they do not have any faith whatsoever in the information that is being presented. That is what that means, to disclaim an opinion. And they've been doing that now since at least 1997. In fact, I found this press release from 2006 on the U.S. Government Accountability Office that says U.S. financial statements received disclaimer of opinion for 10th straight year.
Finkel says, I used to work at GAO, and what does that stand for? What does that stand for? So is it government something auditing? What does GAO stand for? Did they already say it? Government. Oh, accountability office. Oh, is that kind of like what Doge became, or is that what it was? Interesting. Well, dear Lord, I thank you for softening Gatekeeper's heart, and may they find the supernatural peace that surpasses all understanding, Lord. In the name of Jesus, amen.
So at least going back to well, in the report it says 97. At least going back to 1997, the auditors of the Government Accountability Office have not been able to do their job, really.
Okay, but this report required by Congress has only been law since 1994. That's 28 years out of 31 years total, 31 years, depending on when the first one came out.
Exactly.
So it's pretty much the whole time.
The whole time, guys. That's what I'm saying. So you need to see this part of the report, because this is the level we're actually at, and nobody's really, like, everyone knows, like, the budget's not balanced, everyone knows we're in horrible debt, but you need to actually see what that actually means in when it's spelled out by the one office we're supposed to have, that the whole purpose of it existing is accountability, okay? So here's what those people are saying. It says, in our audits of the U.S. government's consolidated financial statements as of and for fiscal years ended September 30, 2024 and 2023, we found the following. Certain material weaknesses in internal control over financial reporting and other limitations on the scope of our work resulted in conditions that continued to prevent us from expressing an opinion on the accompanying accrual-based consolidated financial statements for those years. Now, they use this phrase material weaknesses, which I think is a really fun semantics game they're playing. And that is defined down here in a footnote. And you need to see that because they use it over and over and over again. So you need to know what that means. A material weakness is a deficiency or combination of deficiencies in internal control over
The Gatekeeper says he tolerates me for about a month now. If you can tolerate me, you can tolerate anyone except Jeff. I'm rooting for Jeff. I'm rooting for Jeff to repent. I think Jeff is a very lost young man. I don't know. I think, yeah, I'm a little shocked that he's kind of squandered his second chance at life. But that's probably for the other channel. Says they work for Congress. Remember when I said I was contractor at 3-letter agency? I did the IT help desk. There's a contractor. Yeah, I remember you were talking quite a bit about let me do this real quick. You were talking quite a bit about Doge, I think, saying that they just changed the name of it, that it already exists. Scotto says material weakness is an audit term generally reserved for the most egregious failures found in an audit. They are usually showstoppers that prevent the auditors from reaching confident conclusions. Interesting. Yep, material weakness is a deficiency or a combination of deficiencies in internal control over financial reporting, such that there is a reasonable possibility that the material misstatement of the entity's financial statements will not be prevented or detected and corrected on a timely basis. A deficiency in internal control exists when the design or operation of a control does not allow management or employee in the normal course of performing their assignment functions to prevent or to detect and correct misstatements on a timely basis. So there's like a NDA type thing or something like that that's kind of put into effect. Is that what it's kind of talking about? This stuff is like so kind of above my echelon of understanding. It's good. It's good that there are other people that seem to understand the ins and outs of it. I haven't seen Jeff, Scotto, G2 in over a week. I see Scotto here, so I assume things have calmed down. Between Scotto and I, yeah, Scotto's always welcome on my panel. I don't think Scotto's ever said anything directly. He's only laughed on occasion. That's about it. No crime. Yeah, I think Scotto has always represented himself as exactly who and what he is. I don't know what he does behind the scenes. People have said that he's pretty brutal in Discord, but I don't know. I'm not on the Discord, so it's one of those if you don't see it, it can't really hurt you kind of things, I think. But I would rather, and Finkel's helping me with this too. He's like, I'd rather have good intellectual conversation and try to be patient with people that I might not see eye to eye with, because I think when you prevent people from having a legitimate conversation, then you leave less room for words, and then when there's less room for words, that's when actions start happening, and actions usually have far more severe repercussions on the person taking the action and the person that the action is taken against. And it usually ends up not working out well. So I'm a big fan of if it's possible for people to be reasonable, well, then let's sit and reason together. I'd rather do that, you know.
Financial reporting such that there is a reasonable possibility that a misstatement of financial statements will not be prevented. And even describing this is convoluted, passive voice, euphemisms, instead of just telling you what it actually says. In plain language, what this means is the way that they are keeping their financial records is so fundamentally flawed that there's a reasonable possibility that the stuff in here is not true. Material misstatement. The way they're doing this is so flawed that the information that's being reported is probably not correct. That's basically what that says. It says that
Sorry about coughing in your ears.
deficiency in internal
1
control
second.
exists when the design or operation of a control does not allow management or employees in the normal course of performing their assigned functions to prevent, detect, and correct misstatements on a timely basis. So, in other words, material weakness means they don't have good data. They cannot trust these figures. They cannot trust anything that's being reported is what that means. If they say there's a material weakness, that's essentially what that means. It means there's no accountability. You can't match up what are in some cases in this report billions of dollars in transactions.
I mean, when you put this into perspective, back in 1994, 93, 94, Congress is far from perfect, but basically they mandated that the Treasury give them an annual report of all the real facts because, after all, constitutionally, it's Congress that's supposed to have power of the purse and the funding, even though the Treasury Department is under the executive branch. So when that legislation became law in 94, the result of it was a Treasury Department report that says, actually, the dog ate my homework. These numbers are no good.
Well, this brings me back to kind of got to be careful how you do it. The number 9 followed by a couple of 1s. This brings me back to that where they were doing the investigation. And the building, of where however much there was something was misappropriated. They couldn't account for like $3 trillion in who couldn't account for it? The Pentagon, I think it was. And ironically, right where the whatever hit the Pentagon was where they were doing the accounting, and as well as the records were kept on a particular floor on a World Trade Center. I mean, you put your tinfoil hat on, but I'm not really, I don't really believe that coincidences are a thing. They don't seem like a thing to me. They seem very legitimately on purpose, with a purpose, for a purpose. These things aren't just adding up randomly. That there's a reason for it. There's a rhyme to it.
There was water spilled on this. I can't read this number. We've got inspector generals who are out with stomach aches today. And so basically none of these numbers are real and you can't rely on anyone. So there's your information, Congress. Good luck balancing the budget or being accountable to the people in any way. We're an executive branch.
Exactly. That's what this is like.
It's a problem that goes all the way back to the founding of the country. It's a problem that popped up with Doge and Elon Musk, even playing
Attempting
his
to
side
do
of
literally
that.
anything at all, basically.
Not that I'm endorsing his side of it either. I'm just saying, to the extent that Congress ever expressed an intent to properly manage fiscal matters and even just have knowledge and disclosure of the money, it was pretty much obfuscated.
So it starts with the material weaknesses, which prevent them from expressing an opinion about or being able to audit at all, because there's just the data is so bad. Then it says material weaknesses resulted in ineffective internal control over financial reporting for fiscal year 2024, and material weaknesses and other scope limitations, limited tests of compliance with selected provisions of applicable laws, regulations, contracts, and grant agreements for fiscal year 2024. So basically, none of this information that's contained in this report is trustworthy. And the further you scroll down in here, they lay it all out. They say, because of the significance of the related matters described in the basis for their disclaimer of opinion, we were not able to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence to provide a basis for an audit opinion. We were not, yeah, that's what they keep saying. Then it says, the federal government is not able to demonstrate the reliability of significant portions of the accompanying accrual-based consolidated financial statements as of and for fiscal years ended September 30, 2024 and 2023, principally because of the limitations related to certain material weaknesses in internal control over financial reporting and other limitations affecting the reliability of these statements and the scope of our work. The federal government did not maintain adequate systems or have sufficient appropriate evidence to support certain material information reported in these statements. The underlying material weaknesses, blah, 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 specifically concern the federal government's inability to satisfactorily determine that property, plant, and equipment and inventories and related property primarily held by the Department of Defense were properly reported, reasonably estimate the value of loans receivable and loan guarantees, most notably.
So, I mean, what I'm kind of feel like I'm hearing here, and if you guys have a different objective to this or response or what you're getting might be different than what I'm getting. It sounds like this, it's like a giant Ponzi scheme. It's like a giant Amway kind of like pyramid scheme. This fiat currency is just a bunch of fudged numbers in which the people who are able to move things around in columns over here and columns over there, why the average person gets fleeced and screwed over. And the rich get incredibly rewarded. Now, I know this sounds like proletariat versus bourgeoisie stuff, and I guess that might be dangerous talk, I guess. And might surprise some people. It sounds a little socialist, Marxist, Leninist, or whatever, which is something that I seem to be very critical of. I think each ist and each ism has aspects to it that I think are very important. And I think that if you could take the best out of each system and try to make the best system possible, I think that would be ideal. But that said, it just sounds like it's a big lie. And when the house of cards falls down, those who have had the means to take advantage of shuffling the system up in a way that advantages some and disadvantages most, they have positioned themselves to have generational wealth or recession proof, or I guess what they used to call "I've got FU money." Now, someone like David Finkel, I mean, it seems to me like he's not hurting for money. So the question in my mind would be, well, if David Finkel's not hurting for money, right? Then why wouldn't he just quietly go along with however the system is? Because it seems to me like he's benefiting from it quite a bit because he's doing well, right? I don't know if that makes any sense at all, or if that's just crazy talk. So it's I often find it rather surprising When people that I think have the most to lose from ruffling the system because they seem to be doing well are actually, you know, very patriotic for talking out against the system. Like, you know, somebody like me should be protesting on the street corner every 5 seconds. I would think that someone like David Finkel would keep his mouth shut because it seems like he's doing all right. Let's see. Shadow says, I'm sorry. Shadow says when I said, I think that's an incomplete, but I'll be waiting for it.
Probably at the Small Business Administration and the Department of Education, so they don't really know about that. They can't reasonably estimate the value of loans and loan guarantees at the Department of Education. You know, the loans that they're getting all of us to fight with each other over, they don't know, okay? The government does not even know. Says they cannot reasonably estimate or adequately support amounts reported for certain liabilities, such as environmental and disposal.
Says when I said GAO works for Congress, I meant they audit what Congress wants them to audit. Oh, interesting. Of course, Congress changes hands from left to right and back. Yeah, I think it's two wings of the same bird, though. I think we can all kind of agree on that. It's a distraction. It's like, oh, the Cowboys are playing the Patriots. Who are you going to root for? You know, well, I don't really like the Patriots, but I absolutely hate the Cowboys, so I guess I'll root for the Patriots because screw the Cowboys. Or, well, I happen to love the Patriots. Well, not love them, but I appreciate the Patriots. Correction, David Finkel is hurting for money. He just spent a week with grandkids and do not mean spent. And I do mean spent. Oh, yeah, I'm sure you did, man. And good for you, man. I bet you built memories with those grandkids that they'll never forget. I really, you know, I saw some of the aquarium stuff, and good for you, man. Good for you. Seriously, good for you.
Liabilities and things like nuclear cleanup and stuff like that, or determine whether commitments and contingencies were complete and properly reported. Cannot support significant portions of the reported total net cost of operations, most notably related to the Department of Defense, the Small Business Association, the Department of Education, and security assistance accounts, and adequately reconcile disbursement activity at certain federal entities. Cannot adequately account for intragovernmental activity and balances between federal entities.
So from this inter is from within to without, like intranet is like a self-contained system. So intra accountability. So they're so what Finkel's saying is checking out then.
Cannot reasonably assure that the consolidated financial statements are 1, consistent with the underlying audited entity's financial statements, 2, properly balanced. They can't assure these are properly balanced, okay? And 3, in accordance with the U.S. generally accepted accounting principles. They cannot reasonably assure that the information in the reconciliations of net operating cost and budget deficit and the statements of changes in cash balance from budget and other activities.
Yeah. That's cool. I'm glad you caught up.
Is complete, properly so.
Are you finding this this show interesting though? It's kind of right up your alley with some of the investigation you do.
Reported and consistent with the underlying information in the audited entity's financial statements and other financial data. Then it says, these material weaknesses, that is, lack of any data that's reliable at all, continue to number 1, hamper the federal government's ability to reliably report a significant portion of its assets, liabilities, costs, and other related information. Number 2, affect the federal government's ability to reliably measure the full cost, as well as financial and non-financial of government programs and activities. Number 3, impair the federal government's ability to adequately safeguard significant assets and properly record various transactions. And 4, hinder the federal government from having reliable, useful, and timely financial information to operate effectively and efficiently. Period. Like, that is what this says, okay?
So, junk in, junk out. I mean, if you never have reliable numbers, you can't make a reliable assessment. And you've got inspectors general not even properly reporting. If they're even appointed, that's become a growing problem. inspector general's not even appointed for
Well, what's the point
federal
of
agencies.
having one? Because they're
It's
not
just-
turning in reports. Then
Yeah.
the reports they are turning in don't have any data in them that actually is based on factual reality in any kind of conceivable way.
They expect every single American household to have an exact accounting of all their finances throughout the year, a portion. Meanwhile, we're used to the post World War II period being filled with black budgets. You know, the Department of Defense, the military, the CIA, and all these special secret agencies. They operate on a black budget. You never find the bottom of it, and they're funding proxy wars and carrying out secret wars that are immensely expensive. It's a terrible problem for our system of government, but we're accustomed to that. But basically what this report boils down to is that the entire federal government operates on a black budget.
Basically, yes. That is it. You have just hit the nail on the head. Because they don't know.
And that's before you get into the Federal Reserve printing the money.
Like, that's the other thing. Congress cannot possibly do its job. It's not even possible for Congress to do. That's before you get into, like, should they be allowed to insider trade, which of course they totally are, and they don't care how corrupt they look and all that stuff. None of these numbers they're getting mean anything. They don't mean anything. That's what this
What up, Pale? Good to see you today. Hope you're having a wonderful day.
is. It's all an illusion.
Yeah, and it's clear that the Federal Reserve is not a government agency. They're not accountable. They certainly don't submit an audit report. And if they did, it would be as blank as this one.
Pretty much.
But they're accountable to no one. They manipulate things. They print at will. They all get a percentage. Their shareholders profit. And we can't know any of that. We can't even know who the shareholders are. But then, in as much as the Federal Reserve, to a degree, services the U.S. federal government and the Treasury, we can't even get basic numbers on those expenditures and account items.
We can't.
It's insane.
We don't
It's
have
insane.
anything. And it actually even goes on to say that in addition, the government did not adequately account for or report the entire special financial assistance program that they did under the American Rescue Plan Act in 2021. So all that COVID stuff, they didn't report or account for any of it. They just did stuff and whatever. All this inflation that we've seen, all this stuff that has happened since. Financially, they did not account for and report any of the stuff they did with that whole special financial assistance program thing they did. There's just nothing there. And it says that this program is supposed to provide payments to eligible multi-employer pension plans, enabling them to pay benefits at plan levels through 2051. That's what this says. And that plans are not required to repay amounts received from this program, which they did not adequately account for or report on. So there's that. There's just another thing, I guess, whatever. And then as you get down here, they straight up say, as a result of the significant uncertainties and material weaknesses, readers are cautioned, like if anyone even reads this report down here to this page, all the way towards the end, readers are cautioned that this page, which is marked 212, but is 219 in the program, readers are cautioned that amounts reported in the 2024 and 2023 statements of long-term fiscal projections, the 2024, 23, 22, 21, and 20 statements of social insurance, which is something that directly affects a lot of millions of people's lives, the 2024 and 2023 statements of changes in social insurance amounts and related notes to these financial statements may not fairly present in all material aspects the sustainability information for those years in accordance with U.S. generally accepted accounting principles. So in other words, because we have bad data, we can't give you an audit or report on even what's going on right now. We also can't project long-term future anything. We can't project anything. We have no estimates that really mean anything. That is what that basically says. We're making these fiscal projections based on basically nothing. That's what it says. I'm going to scroll down. I'm not going to read all of this because, like I said, it just gets really tedious and repetitive, but you should at least go read these pages for yourself just to see for yourself that it's all right here in black and white. Other limitations on the scope of our work. For the fiscal years of 2024 and 23, there were other limitations on the scope of the Government Accountability Office auditors. The additional limitations primarily relate to obtaining adequate representations from management regarding the financial statements. Now that is a really nice way of saying we couldn't get anyone to vouch for the reports that they gave us to audit. We couldn't get any of these people in management of these government agencies to.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think there's stop gaps to prevent whistleblowers. There's punishments in place to punish whistleblowers. Oh, excuse me. Oh, there you go. I caught the microphone that time, so I didn't cough in your ears. Sorry about that. Now, remember, as help desk customers, they GAO auditors were always grouchy. Well, that's probably why. They're probably constantly getting complaints, trying to get information.
Vouch, okay, for the data they're giving us.
The government is fundamentally unaccountable in some very basic and key ways.
I mean, you turn in these reports, you got to have someone that signs off on it and says, you know, this information is correct. You know how they make you sign that stuff all the time in your own life. I swear that, you know, this info is true to the best of my knowledge and that nothing important is being hidden or, you know, has been manipulated.
You know, the government expects its citizens to be super transparent with it, but it obfuscates constantly. It is pretty crazy if you think about it. It really is.
Or whatever, right? But they're saying here they couldn't get adequate representations from management regarding the financial statements. That means that they didn't get good assurance that what's here is not weak or missing information.
What
or
it
details.
means is that the executive
they
branch,
can't do their job.
They nominally complied with Congress's requirement by saying, well, we can't really guarantee these numbers since we never got good numbers, but here's your report.
It's like you could just get AI to write like some big long report. It doesn't mean that it means anything. And that's what this is. It's a big long report filled with lots of, you know, graphs and charts that look like they were made in freaking, I don't know, a PowerPoint presentation in the mid-90s. And they don't mean anything. Then it's go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I mean, what it boils down to is the debt we think we know, which is bad enough and already staggering, pales in comparison to the obligations this government has made. And we don't know the real numbers.
We don't know what they are.
No one can know the real numbers. It is not knowable. It's worse than a house of cards because...
Well, this would kind of explain why it seems like America and the West in general are being a house of cards. It's funny how they said that. That's what I was talking about earlier. It almost seems to me like we are about to be taken over, or at least destroyed, and it's the purpose of it is to hide a crime. Well, what's the crime, you may ask? Well, it seems like the crime is to fleece the American people, right? Go ahead and swing with this one.
It's as if there aren't even cards.
Yeah.
Okay. But the one thing they are sure about is that they made a lot of social obligations, especially for...
I think it was designed to be that way, probably.
Medicare and Social Security, i.e. the one department of the federal government's largesse that directly impacts and potentially benefits actual people of this country.
When Social Security was first founded, those who established it, it was started out as a 2% tax, and they said this will never take more than 6% of your income. Today, it takes 12.4%, and depending on whether you go with CBO or Social Security trustees, it needs to take between 15.8 and 17.5%. So we're talking about thousands of dollars more per year. It also was actually only originally recommended that the tax be up to $66,000, equivalent in today's dollars of earnings. But over time...
You can hear her voice. She's very halting. She's very concerned, right? Isn't that interesting? It's almost as if she knows what she's doing is going to likely get her into a lot of trouble.
It has expanded massively, and the money has been spent every year. So whereas everybody thinks this money's been set aside for me, no, for the past 13 years, every dollar that's gone out of workers' paychecks has gone immediately to pay promised benefits. And that's what happens when you have a system that enables those in charge of it to spend the money in the immediate term and leave the buck to the next generation that's coming along.
Since he just brought up the Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security, because I think that's what a lot of people are super focused on, because there are a lot of people who that's their whole way of life is based upon that being a thing that exists. But they're basically saying in here that we've got maybe 8 years left. We got less than a decade left of that program having the funds to even pay for it. And again, that's if you could even go off these numbers, which, like I said, they cannot. They cannot go off of these numbers. But there's some really creepy, ethically disturbing things that have been written in this report. And I'm not going to get into all of that. You can go look it for yourself. But an example of what I mean by that, you can find on the bottom of page 179 under Social Security and Medicare sensitivity analysis. I'm going to the very last paragraph here at the bottom under that header. It says the following tables show the present values of the estimated excess of Social Security and Medicare costs over income for the 75-year period using various assumptions which are shown in parentheses. And then it says the low-cost alternative is characterized by assumptions that improve the financial status of the program relative to the intermediate assumption, such as slower improvement in mortality, parentheses, beneficiaries die younger. Basically, they put that in there as a best-case scenario. So the cold, hard facts of this document as a financial document, which they just admitted in the government accountability section, shows you they can't go on these numbers anyways. But they have outlined in here that a low-cost alternative, as they call it, is that there is slower improvement in mortality, parentheses, beneficiaries die younger. So
it's stunning.
From a purely fiscal standpoint, which is how this is written, that is what they are saying. On the next page is the chart, and then underneath that chart, it says the average annual reduction in death rates. If people die at younger ages, Social Security income relative to cost would decrease by $5.1 trillion. But if they live longer, the shortfall would increase by $6 trillion.
Basically, anyone who cares about this finance has a vested interest in hoping people die as soon as possible. So that
Well, I mean, that would explain why we have like the whole crisis of the zombie drug users walking around. I mean, these people are like 30, 40 years dying before, that they should. I mean, it's just crazy what's going on. Both Dems and Republicans in both Congress and White House have borrowed trillions from Social Security and never paid them back. Now they will run out right when I check my mailbox for my Social Security check. Yeah, I get a feeling I'm not going to see what I'm like 10 years from it. Yeah. I don't, and that's why, I'm rooting for our government to un-F itself. I really am. But I'm not holding out a lot of hope that's going to happen. That's why I try to grow food, canned food. I could be doing a lot better than I'm doing. I could be making a much more efficient use of my time, frankly. I think we all could be. But trying to be as reliant, as less reliant, as relying less on the infrastructure as possible and more with people around us, right? And, working together I'm not even sure how to, just working together, to try to it's kind of like the Amish, they're so close together. They can, they'll raise a burnt down barn in 3 days. They'll source it, get it built and replace it 3 days, man. It's crazy. But Holly is getting hers. That's why you date older ladies. They're there, gents. Yeah, I personally think older women are kind of hot. I don't really have a problem with them.
they don't have to pay them programs they promised them and that many people are counting on, which are nonetheless unconstitutional programs. But this country got hooked on FDR related programs and other social programs. It's a total departure from the Constitution and the way this country was set up.
And by the way, Social Security, for those of you that don't know, this group up here in 1983 voted to tax Social Security. And then a few years later, tax it again. It's all a scam. This is all a scam. I mean, we got people that's getting ready to retire that's going to try to live off $2,000 to $3,000. Impossible. It's impossible. Because what happens, it comes up here, we spend it. We're $35 trillion in debt. We don't have any money. We're dead broke.
But by way of funny money, real people's lives, real people who actually exist.
No, this is affecting us. Like,
they
this
are
affects
dependent
everyone.
on this fake money that's so fake they can't even admit to Congress how much money it even is.
Then it straight up admits on page 218, okay, long-standing financial management system weaknesses at several large CFO Act agencies, along with the size and complexity of the federal government, which was never, ever supposed to be this gargantuan Leviathan octopus system that it has become. It was never supposed to be like this under the framework of the Constitution. This is not how things are supposed to be at all. It blames the size and complexity of the federal government as continuing to present a formidable management challenge in providing accountability and contribute significantly to material weaknesses and limitations that are discussed in this audit report. So they're admitting to you right there, ladies and gentlemen, that this government is too big for them to even financially manage it all, let alone have any accountability whatsoever.
Too big to even account for, even internally, much less.
It's become a monster, right? It's become a monster. It's like a giant Frankenstein.
For people to lobby their representatives to politely ask the deep state to please, reduce some programs and be more reasonable. It's so out of control. Even the people in government can't account for how large, complex, and expensive it is.
All right, man.
No, have you seen the memes? It's like for a millennial.
Enjoy your date night, and hopefully we'll see you sometime here soon. Don't be a stranger. It was good to see your name in chat again, man. I'm glad you get home safe.
My retirement plan is societal collapse. People are making, they're like sewing little pillows that say that and putting them on their couch because that's the level we're at. We all know this isn't going to be here for us and anyone coming up after us.
But meanwhile, the aging boomers of all our families, everyone
they're
in that
reliant on it. There's a
generation,
lot of people that are reliant on this, though.
they're
They
relying
can't
on
pay
it.
any bills without this.
I mean, some people have their own personal investments and retirement funds, but for a lot of people, this is basically all they got.
This is
and that
it.
money is running out
quickly.
What, less than a decade?
Yes.
Maybe it already has.
Well, they
run
keep
out.
changing it in here.
Actually, it
There's
may
several
have
different years.
For all we know, it 100% ran out
We don't
years
know
ago
anything. No,
because
we
we
don't
don't
know
even
anything.
know the real numbers.
They're not even printing money anymore. They're just moving digits around on a screen somewhere. Like this, it's not connected to reality in any possible way. That is what this says.
And then taxpayers have $2 trillion in credit card debt. We are in huge trouble. In this body, we had better start figuring that out because we're going to have a run on this city here soon, and there's going to be about 150 million people coming up here saying, where's our damn money that we paid in?
So between the lines of this report, it first of all says the executive branch is not going to tell the elected Congress any real information. Second, it says this is a bursting bubble that's going to be a huge financial problem, and there's basically 3 or 4 main routes on how that could be handled. One is the government, near default, may just simply fail to fulfill its obligations and wouldn't pay out. 2, they print money. They print more and more money like they do for every crisis from the Federal Reserve, lend it to the Treasury at interest, and then give it to these programs through a system that will create insane hyperinflation. And then basically there would be some form of economic collapse, all of which, the pain and burden of it would fall on us ordinary people. Another thing they could do is sell government bonds to get ordinary people and institutional investors to loan them the money to pay for this. However, at least the institutional investors and those who are wise in the financial area know how risky It is for the government that can't afford its own programs. So they're demanding higher interest rates to pay back for those bonds, which in some cases have already outstripped the debt that they're trying to fulfill. Okay. The final leg of that chair, which is not going to stand, is reducing the number of beneficiaries that they've promised to pay out by shortening their lifespan,
which
is
they mentioned in here.
Which is the eugenical front of this. And, you know, where does this show up in everyday society? Which crises of the past several years?
Yeah, can you think of anything that's happened in the last 5 years that was real weird, didn't make a whole lot of sense? I don't know.
Yeah, 5G and the Wu flu.
Oh, it's kind of hard. Like, what was that happened that was very strange? And everyone's like, why would that be the case?
There are people quite literally banking on the shortening of life. It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
Yeah. Bill Gates wants to kill you.
Economics that don't compute. Math that not only doesn't work, but math that can't work because they don't even have the proper inputs.
This is so incredibly insolvent. There's no... This is like that part of a cartoon where they're driving a car that's like already junking out down the hill and the parts just all start flying off. And by the time the cartoon character gets to the bottom of the hill, every single part of the car is gone and the character's just basically sitting in a chair with a steering wheel. That's what's going on. That's what's actually going on. And people are paying taxes to this. People are paying taxes to this, and that's what they're doing. In fact, they just released a new thing where you can Venmo or PayPal the government to pay down the debt. They're trying to get people to send them PayPal payments on this, and they're not even accountable to what it is because nobody actually knows. You can't say it's 37 trillion. You can't say it's 151 trillion. It's probably something even way more asinine than any of us could even know. It's insane. This is insane. You can't run anything this way. It's not possible. It's not possible to balance this or fix it. There's no Doge that's going to come in and like fix this. You can't do anything with it at all. Okay. And what's even scarier about this is, like I said, this has been going on for 28 consecutive years now on record. So all of the data they've been feeding into AI, if it's this kind of data at all in any possible way, AI can't fix this either. All that promise about AI is going to come in and run this and fix it, that's not going to happen either. It's not possible because all you're doing is feeding this complete bullshit data into a system so it can give you complete bullshit numbers and complete bullshit projections that are basically worthless as this report is. The whole thing. It's just... I'm not going to keep reading this report, actually. Like, we recorded a whole hour of talking about this report. And go read this for yourself. Go get this report. I'm going to put the link below. Type in the number 215. Go to that page and just read through some of the stuff that they admit to. What pisses me off about...
What they rely on is the average person is too busy to be paying attention to this. After this video is over, I'm going to be saying goodbye and farewell. So long and Evita Zane until tonight at 9 p.m. Hope you'll come over to my show on the Generally Specific show. Look for me. Just look for Generally Specific. Should be like a red, white, and blue S, double S. It's supposed to be a G wrapped up with an S, but AI being what it is, that we just went with it. So I guess it is how I am known now. But hopefully we'll see you tonight at 9 o'clock. We'll have conversations.
This, okay? Because we've all known for a long time. I think we've all, let's be adults in the room, okay? Because these people obviously are not. All of you out there know you have been having to cut costs in your own house. You've had to worry about what's going to happen. Probably been taking on some debt. A lot of people taking on some debt. We're all out here struggling, okay? I was at the grocery store earlier tonight, and there were half-eaten containers of food that had been eaten while people were walking around the store and just being left around the store. I've lived here since 2021. I've never seen that before. People are struggling. We were in Dallas last week, and I saw a woman just walking down the street with no clothes on. The amount of craziness that is happening in the streets of our country and the things that are going on and the amount of suffering, pure suffering that is occurring in our country right now is unbelievable to watch while these people are sitting up here writing reports like this. There is absolutely zero accountability in this report. None. It is a joke that is being played on everybody. It is an illusion. It is fiction. There is nothing here. It's a bag of nothing. That is what this report is. And I could go through and read you all the little specifics like I normally do in these videos and say, look at all this and this and this and this. We could be here for an hour and a half. Or you could just go get this and look at it for yourself and you'll see what I mean. Even people who are trying to say, oh, it's actually the unfunded liabilities bring it up to 151 trillion or something like that. Whatever. There's no way to know that.
One more win here.
There's no way to know that that is the actual number. There's no way to know. It's probably way worse. And I don't even know how it could be that much because supposedly the total debt of the entire global debt of the whole world is 315 trillion. How could it be 151 just here? Do you see? Like, that math doesn't add up either. I bet all the numbers across this place are all phony. I want to bet you. How much you want to bet that this right here is just what we're seeing here and this is being replicated everywhere? What do you want to bet? This entire thing, like he said, it's not even a house of cards because there's not even cards.
It's just an
It
illusion.
is though, and it's definitely being played on everybody. This is not our debt. Okay? This is not our debt. It's not mine. It's not yours. You didn't do this. This is unaccountable.
I'll give you a hint. There's a little tiny country that's surrounded by Muslim countries somewhere in the Mediterranean, Middle East area. That's whose debt it really is, technically. But guess who's going to foot the bill? Your grandkids, my grandkids.
Just total highway, or not even highway robbery, because it's all made up, printed, fake, nothing. It's based on nothing. They can change it at will. They can always print more money. Remember what Greenspan said?
The United States
can print our way out of it.
Any debt it has because we can always...
Well, we can always print more money.
Print money to do that. So there is zero probability of default.
So this is ridiculous. But the rest of us are supposed to all live under some kind of slavery to this, right? And of course, no one's having kids in the younger generations. You think they want to bring more slaves into this? Are you kidding? Of course not. No. Why would they? It makes no sense. All right? So that's why. They're looking around like, what is the point? And what can we tell them? What can we in the older generations tell them? I'm a millennial. What can I tell them? What can I say?
Once they passed a modest reporting law, they suddenly couldn't come up with the numbers. But when it's time to ask for the money and demand the budgets, they got numbers all day long. Yeah, this gets back to some of the John Locke stuff you were talking about from last week. Natural law. This is our government. This is our system. We're supposed to be loyal, at least to the ideas and principles of the Constitution, maybe not to the government itself, but the government is supposed to serve those ends. And yet it's so predatory and so dismissive and devaluing of life. How are we any better off than living in the jungle? The most primitive societies you could think of took care of their elders. They looked after people. Maybe lives were supposedly nasty, short, and brutish, but at least they didn't have some bureaucracy weighing over them and like scaling their life, not on their deeds, not on the things they had done or what they represent, but on cold, hard cash, whatever that is.
Like, this is insane. There is no responsibility here. So what you're watching when you watch Congress have these arguments with each other about whether or not they can insider trade or not, they're completely unaccountable to us. Completely unaccountable to everything that they're supposed to be doing. There's no way for them to be, because these numbers are completely made up. None of this is real. That is what this report says over and over and over.
How you doing, buddy?
So I don't know what else you need to see to understand the level that things are at. But they're openly admitting it because they don't think anyone's even going to read it. Okay?
Probably no one will.
Don't. And they're paying influencers now to keep people infighting about all of this other bullshit. And guess what? None of it even really matters. It doesn't. Like I bad.
based.
If anything, the only reason they're trying to bring back up Epstein now, and because they don't ever plan to tell on themselves. None of these people plan to tell on themselves. The only reason they bring it back up now is to get people to demand this stuff be accountable, so that then if they decide to use it as an excuse to collapse everything, they can put this under the collapse, and then they don't have to take responsibility for any of this. This right here that you are seeing will never be fixed from inside of here. It is not possible.
Yeah, you got to tear it down and replace it with something else, I think. That's the only way to really fix it, I guess. I don't know.
There's no way, and they admit it in here. In the report, they admit that the size of this Leviathan thing makes it impossible. There aren't enough tariffs in the world to pay off whatever's really going on here, and there is absolutely zero reason that any one of us in America should believe that any of the money that's being raised by tariffs is actually going to pay what this is, since they don't even know what it actually is. And it's probably in the hundreds of trillions of dollars. This has probably been going on for a very, very, very long time, way longer than just 28 years, if I had to guess. But there's no amount of anything that is going to fix this. No amount of budget cutting, no amount of tariffs, no amount of raising taxes on us all. And there is no reason to trust that any of that money from tariffs or taxes or anything at all in any way is actually...
She's getting a little shrill with her outrage. I got to take a break from it for a second. So I just got to let my ears. It's kind of like Pearl or Steven Crowder when they get that high pitch, really kind of incredulous sound. It's a little piercing, if you know what I mean. If you know, you know.
Going to pay this or going towards...
But I love this woman. I think she's absolutely brilliant. I like her passion. I do. Her and her husband are just amazing researchers, and ideologically, we probably agree way more than we disagree, but I'm sure there might be some things in there, but that's no reason to burn a bridge, right?
Where they say it's going. Why would you trust them with that? They're not accountable at any level, so why would you trust that they'll be accountable with that? There is absolute... Trust is earned. Trust is earned. That is why we called the entire series on our monetary system that we made the trust game. Because that's what this is. There's no reason to trust anything that we are being told about this. Any budgets that they're calling for, any amounts they say are going to happen in the future. It's all based on phony numbers to begin with, so you can't arrive at a conclusion that is also anything other than phony. And the people who are in there suckling at the teat of this and benefiting off of this total fraud and complete and utter unaccountability for hundreds of...
What's up, James Ginger? Yo, GS. Surprised you weren't watching Tav's live. Oh wait, he just had a live. Really, I missed it. I wish somebody would have told me. I would have definitely tuned in. Really? What are the? He probably wants me to cover them again tonight. Can you give me like a couple of cheat codes to it? Like a couple of things in case he takes it down or whatever. Did he do it to members only? He probably did it members only, huh? See, that's going to enter tapped. Was it a members only live? I'm not a member, so. Yeah. But see, now you got me interested. I'll have to check it out.
Of billions of dollars, which is probably more in the trillions and probably like insane amounts of trillions. They're never going to fix this.
Dude, he did that shit too again? How is this guy still on the streets at this point in time, chat? Like I keep saying, this guy's a menace to society, man. I genuinely think that he wants to be deselected from the gene pool. I think he's what do they call it? Sushi side by cop? Isn't that what they call it? Where you don't want to unalive yourself because you would, your family might not get the benefits or whatever, but you also don't want to live. So you want to act like a complete idiot until somebody takes you out of the gene pool? Huh. I'm honestly worried he's snapped. I hope he's all right for his safety and the safety of those around him. Yeah, I really genuinely think he has. Let me finish watching this and I might bring it up. We might continue a little bit here, you know. I don't know. Tav, man. Uh-oh, what happened? Wait, what? Oh, hold on. There we go. I don't know, Tav.
Not
Stand
ever.
by.
Not even if they even wanted to. Like, if there's someone
I might actually switch over to my main account and show it there.
in there who wants to, right? Not gonna happen. Sorry, you can't fix this. The only way this gets fixed is if we go back to the founding principles of this country, the limited government that we were supposed to have in the beginning, and you clean house. Those people all need to be fired. None of them should be there because they're not gonna fix this. They're not gonna fix this. They can't fix it. This is not fixable. This is unaccountability at every
I did that backwards.
level. I don't know what else to keep saying. I've been saying stuff for 13 years, and I don't know what else to say. This is where we are. And I'm sorry that all of these levels of people out here are so busy thinking about their own personal situation and their own benefit off of that they are too afraid to tell you that. I'm afraid too. I'm afraid for all of us. When I saw this, I was like, oh my God, this is insane. How can anything be so bad? It is so bad. But I'm more afraid of what happens if none of us admit this to ourselves and this does not change at all for the better. Because this is going to affect everybody. This affects everybody. So I would say that's the reason we're talking about moving everything into some technocracy thing. It will not be legitimate. Everything they got now, they try to roll it into some AI system. That will all be bunk. All of it. All of it. Because you can't put any of this in there. All of this data is bad. You're going to put bad data in there, you're going to get bad data back out again. They're going to start a whole new system based on bad data built into the foundations of the system. It will only go down from there. You have to have a zero. You have to have a debt jubilee zero start over because there is no way you can continue on with this charade. It is a charade. That is all it is. There is nothing there. I don't know how many more times I can say it. I'm just repeating myself, but everybody needs to understand this. I stayed up reading this all night last night because I couldn't believe how completely and utterly just bereft of any type of legitimacy this is. This is the most illegitimate thing I have ever seen.
The only thing you need to know is this page was intentionally left blank.
I love you guys. I think we should probably cut this off. Do you have anything else you want to say?
I love you too. Take care of yourself and your loved ones as best you can, because this government can't take care of you and it won't take care of you. And the technocrats coming up on the next version of that system, I can't say I have any faith in it either.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, chat. Well, that was definitely a thing. I'm gonna try to see if his thing is actually up still. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. Cop breaks the law and calls. Oh, it's still up. Looks like it's 23 minutes. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and show it, I guess. I'm gonna do it on the big screen here. All right.
Huzzah! So I've been down at this park for a little bit waiting on these fucking clowns to drive by. Guess I'm gonna go home now, but I wanted to go live for my trip home.
Followable at 1.5. Oh, I want to have a record of it, not sped up though. But thank you, James.
Now see, that doesn't fucking work, man. That just doesn't fucking work. I mean, this is supposed to be.
I'm gonna mute up.
See, that doesn't fucking work either. It's supposed to be a high dollar amount, and then motherfucker, I can't seem to get it into a mode. Let's do this. Let's see if I can get it into some sort of like so. And you're just gonna have to deal with the thing being in the way. So my mirror's clear, my field of view is clear, we're good to go. Let's sit here, smoke a cigarette, and relax for a little bit, because I'm a little amped up right now. Little amped up. KTZ banner. Don't worry, KT. I'll find you. The snitch tree is ripe. The snitch tree is bearing fruit as we speak. So I'm driving down the road, coming back from the post office, mailing my subpoenas for service of another lawsuit. I'm driving down the road and I'm just chilling, and I'm like, it's a nice day out. And this Harford County Sheriff's Department doing about 90 plus in a 45. I think he almost hit me. Like, it was egregious enough for me to turn around. So I turned around in the driveway. And I started driving in the direction that he was going. Now, I knew he wasn't on a call because he didn't have any lights and sirens on. No lights and sirens. So, I kind of know the neighborhood a little bit, right? And I see him down the road, way down the road. Make a couple turns. And I took a little estimate of where he could be going. Like, where could this guy be going in such a fucking hurry, right? To where he does not give two fucks about all the other people on the road. Well, to my surprise, there was a Harford County Sheriff's Department car, the windows open, in a driveway, running, radio going, not like music radio, but radio as in comms, police radio. And I'm like, huh. So I park off on a shoulder, get out, and I go up to the door to this house, and I ring the doorbell, but the ring doesn't work. So I'm sitting there for a little bit, thinking that the ring worked, but I don't think it works. And I'm listening to them talking. They're palling around and saying this and that, yada, yada, yada. So I knock on the door. Dog barks. Dude answers the door. Civilian clothes, tank top, tattooed all up his arms and shit like that. And he's like, can I help you? And I was like, yeah, is that your police car out there? And he's like, yeah, it is. And I wasn't a dick. I was like, well, you were doing about 90 or more miles per hour without your lights and sirens. And his excuse, which, I mean, it's kind of a valid excuse to be in a hurry, I guess. But he said, well, I gotta get to work, and I just got off of a call. One of our officers got hit. I'm guessing that was the emergency alert that I got on my phone earlier. 95 was shut down both ways or some shit. I hope he's okay. When they shut down both lanes, it usually means that there's a helicopter involved. So, I was like, I understand, but you almost hit me. And then that's when he went into tyrant mode. And he was like, well, what road was it? And I wanted to be a dick, and I wanted to say, well, fuck you. I said, it doesn't matter what fucking road, this is what I wanted to say. I wanted to say, fuck you. It doesn't matter what fucking road I was on. You shouldn't be doing 90 plus in a fucking 45 without your lights and sirens on. That's what I wanted to fucking say. But I didn't. I was like, well, next time you're going that fast, maybe you should just turn your lights and sirens on. And he was like, well, what road was it? Like, he started interrogating me, right? So I literally started walking away from him, and then he got even more dickish. And I was like, bro, look, you don't have to be a dick. Stop being a fucking dick. And he's like, you need to leave my property. I was already headed out, right? And I get down the steps, and I record the CAD, and the number of the car, because now I want to know exactly who it is. Oh, he said his name was Deputy Burns, but we all know they lie, right? So I wanted to get some footage of his car. Next thing you know, this dude comes out of the basement. Who's this fat fuck, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada? What the hell's going on? Who's this fat, oh, wait a minute, fat fuck? So, I don't know. He just started fucking cussing, blah, blah, blah. And, we might be going to a police department right now. Started telling me to get off of his property, and I was like, so I started walking backwards. I was like, oh, so it's your property, not, you know, not Burns's property. And Burns speaks up, and he's like, no, I live here. I live here. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm walking, and this motherfucker, after the cop, Burns, tells him to leave me alone, to leave it alone, after he tells me to leave it alone, I don't know if that's car 81 or not. I hope it isn't, because Deputy Burns has already had a hard enough fucking day, as it is, apparently. But this fucking jacktard starts coming at me. So I get to the end of the driveway, and I know I'm at the mailboxes, and on the other side of the light post or power lines or whatever. So I know I'm not on private property. And he's like, take one more step. And that would have put me into the fucking street, by the way. So I started giving him the old fucking TAV lashing, because he was a fucking douchebag wearing his Blue Line Gang flag t-shirt and shit like that. And it's not 81. Saw a 2 there. It might be 82. I don't know. Anyway. I don't know exactly where the police station is up this way. The Hartford County Police Station, anyway. And I don't want to turn this live off until I get home. But we'll make a visit to the police station tomorrow. So anyway, this fucking cocksucker.
Is it gonna be another lawsuit, Tav? You hyper litigious bagel. Kind of sounds like he might be I might be expecting some service coming in the mail soon, or maybe a ring at my door. By the way, I won't try to dodge that. I will excitedly take that service, Tav, and then I will immediately retain a lawyer, and we'll let the fun begin.
Calls the cops, and no lie, lights and fucking sirens. An unmarked gray police vehicle. Don't know if it was Hartford County or Cecil. I don't know. Scream like.
That's a really good question. So if I'm left to believe that the cop was doing 90 in a 45 and he was able to turn around and make it to exactly where the cop stopped driving at 45 miles an hour. So did you break the law to try to get to where the cop was, to try to catch up to him? Are you trying to make a citizen's arrest? I mean, what is it with these fagos, man? They hate the cops so much because they want to be the cops. They want to police the world. They hate that which they cannot become, but they so desperately want to be.
Literally screeches into the road.
I'll try to answer it after this video. It's almost over.
And then down into his driveway. The and now I'm wondering, is it can't be shift. I thought shift was like at 7 or some shit like that. What time is it? I don't even know what time it is.
Yeah.
Oh, we will be getting call numbers, service numbers, call for service. We will be getting that. And I will be saying something. I can't be too negative about Deputy Burns.
Why not?
Christ,
Pourquoi?
you can't even see to the front of that truck. 0018 is that truck. I'm not going to be too hard on the guy, but we are going to follow up on it, and I believe somebody needs to talk to Deputy Burns about how fast he was going without lights and sirens. So we will make sure that fucking happens.
I will quickly answer that, Bandit. It can take a long time. You could get buried in red tape. I wasn't trolling, but we're looking into it. Just trying to find out if the information we've gotten so far is real, and we're looking into it. So there's a lot of people looking into it. See, here's the thing about now. I think I have hurt quite a few people on the internet, and perhaps even have affected their lives in real life. I understand that, right? But I think it's the heart. Was I intending to do that? Right? Was I intending to do the harm? I think that's the bigger question here. So the answer on my part is no. I've never went out of my way to intend to harm somebody that hasn't gone out of their way to continuously try to harm me. Guadalupe has continuously tried to damage me, my channel, my reputation. G2 has done the same. Jeff has done the same. Stone Vet has done the same. Master Sergeant Retarded has done the same. There's quite a few of them out there that have gone out of their way, even when offered peace, to continue to choose violence, and therefore accepted. So it can take a while to answer your question, and I'm a patient man. According to the Bible, Exodus 14:14, technically, I don't have to do anything. If I am God's chosen, I just need to be silent, and God will fight my battles for me. Matter of fact, that'd probably be the preferable situation. But the beauty of watching evil undo itself is that it becomes a testimony. It becomes a testimony of you don't have to go visit people and personally interact with them in a violent way or in any kind of way like that. You don't have to actually do that. You could just sit back, man, and God will handle it eventually, is what I'm saying. And there have been so many people, right, that have undone themselves. Izzy Imig, perfect example. Jeff's numbers are plummeting. I haven't really had to do much of anything other than speak the truth. G2's bought so many bots and views and subs in order because his ego won't let him be a small channel. I'm happy on this channel. I'm happy when I get a new sub on this channel. I'm at like 357 or something like that right now. And here I am, even though I've got a monetized channel somewhere else. So it's not about money with me. It's about community. It's about building something, even if it takes a long time for it to be built. Even if there are things stacked up against you. So when somebody like Guadalupe Guacamole steps on her imaginary D, as it were, yeah, you better believe I'm going to be wanting to be one of the people contributing to getting that information out in some meaningful way. And I think that would be the right thing to do, in my opinion. So that was a little bit longer answer than it probably should have been, but I hope you accept it. It's all about the cheesy puffs. Yes, yes, yes. That is true. So GS, you touched on that. Of course. Okay. Thank you. I mostly rewatched last night's stream and couldn't find out what you said last night. In and out of sleep, but thanks. Yeah, I understand. Stefan says it is all about the cheesy puffs. Indeed. All right, let's continue to get a record of this that I can share with you guys later on.
And not just a talking to, but actually like written in paper. So or I don't know how I'm going to handle that right now. I'm kind of pissed off. So it's probably not a good idea to go to the police station right now, to be honest with you. Because as fucking stupid as cops are. Oh, and then they tried to say I was trespassing. And I'm like, I'm not fucking trespassing. You see my feet moving? My feet are fucking moving, bro. I'm literally walking towards the end of the fucking driveway. I'm not fucking trespassing. Learn how fucking trespassing works.
He's so angry.
Cigarette. I'm not going to I'm not going to the fucking Harford County Barracks. Fuck that. He's probably going into Bel Air, downtown Bel Air. I ain't got the fucking time or the patience for that shit right now. We'll handle that shit tomorrow. I would like to have some fucking backup, though, to go do this. Never really had a problem with Harford County Sheriff's Department until now. I mean, why do they gotta be fucking dicks? Like, he should have just owned up to it. I was walking away, wasn't gonna do a goddamn fucking thing. He should have just been like, yeah, I'm sorry, it's been a bad day, blah, blah, blah. I was trying to get home so I could get dressed, make it back to work on time, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. I would have walked the fuck away. Nothing would have fucking happened.
He's a victim.
But no, they had to be fucking dicks. I wonder if they're boyfriend and boyfriend. Hey, he definitely looked like a fucking super trooper. 100% looked like a fucking super trooper. Fuck was his name? Burns. Deputy Burns. Well, I'm gonna say, I can't imagine it being North District. I mean, it could be the North District. I don't fucking know. Oh, so then, yeah, the story's not even over. So,
Joy.
So the homeowner, rightfully so, I guess, literally gets in his car, drives down the road, pulls in front of me, and pulls in front of me, starts taking pictures of me, and video of, or pictures of my truck. I guess because I told him that he's gonna find the fuck out. He kept asking who I was, yada yada yada. I said, don't worry,
That's what I said.
You're about to fucking find out, motherfucker. You know me. Thank you. Yeah. So I just don't fucking get it, man. I don't understand why cops have to be fucking dicks. Why do they have to be? I mean, like, why couldn't you just be a normal person? Be like, yeah, that's my truck. What's wrong? Or can I help you? Or whatever. Well, yeah, you could probably put your lights and sirens on when you're doing 90 plus miles per hour. But his excuse, but he had to make an excuse for it. No, that wasn't a cop. Oh well. He had to make an excuse for it and then turn into a fucking dick. Like, really? Come on, man. Like, what the fuck? I don't know why I thought I was closer to fucking Bel Air. Ugh, Jesus. So we're gonna be live all the way fucking home. For protection. I wish they fucking would pull me the fuck over. I wish they fucking would.
All right, that's it. All right, chat. Well, we got it. We got what we were looking for. So we can review that. Gonna review that tonight. Probably not going to play that. I'll probably stay with red black. Hope you're all having a great day. I'm going to be ending this stream here. G Swag, good to see you. Hopefully see you tonight. You're welcome on the panel, of course. see. And exsanguinate. I think that's a great card. Sure. And I will catch you all on the next one. We'll see you soon.